What, the colorism and texturalism that they gave feedback on, and how did it play? Oh, sorry, break my brain. This is an important consultation given that Frey is one of the first female protagonists of Black descent in a fantasy game genre. Is that even true? Probably not. They keep saying everyone's the first when it comes to these things. Captain Marvel, the first female superhero. No, fuck off. Okay. Yeah, all this stuff is lame. Oh yeah, shit. I did have this. I guess this doesn't technically work, and I don't think this is really anything in matter. This girl, definitely she previously worked with Sweet Baby Inc, and she has a video game on Steam that it wasn't in the list. Here's the game. Oh, it's probably not going to come up because it keeps on switching. Here's the beautiful game that someone who worked with Sweet Baby Inc has made. That's on Steam. That's not on the list. Look at it. Doesn't it look awesome?
I cannot believe Steam is doing a Woman's Day sale. All right, valid date.
Up and fumble the bag. Get to know struggling singles just like
who worked with Sweet Baby Inc has produced Bop Eyes. Oh God!
Holy shit! Please, for the love of God, send me this. Send me this on Discord so that I can. I'm gonna have to talk about this in my stream tomorrow.
I mean, it's not a direct connection.
No, but it's close enough just to make fun of.
I know. It's beautiful. Okay. You can find some good stuff if you go into if you dig through the Wayback Machine. That's how I came across this sort of a tweet thread. But maybe I got lucky. Oh.
Start a new fling. So get your game face on. And don't forget deodorant. It's time to mingle with some singles.
Yeah, I'm not going to be picking this up. This is for sale on Steam. And it's mostly positive, but only 58 reviews.
Bro, the YouTube, it's got, so this trailer has almost 7,000 views. It has got 103 upvotes to 118 downvotes. That is wild.
Muted. I thought I would start off with that blast from the past since everyone seems to be jumping on Validate now. Not going to be covering this now. I already pointed this out earlier in the week, so check it out. Gloating about that, and I didn't realize how really, yeah, it's sort of racist what she did. But that's not what we're here tonight. Anyone who knows about me knows that I don't like to harp on the same things that everyone else does. I don't know if they would want me to or not. Couldn't make fun of me that way. So today, I am going to try to put a certain preamble here. So let me set this up, set the stage for any new viewers out there who's coming upon the stream or not, or just this in the future. So, title of the stream, Defenders of Sweet Baby Inc. Probably give them too much credit. Not smart enough to fully defend anything, but chills, gimps, crackpots who think defending this company is worthwhile. And of course, there's a little group that I've done some videos on, along with other content creators like Ray Poupe and Andrew Clark and many others, but those are the ones I want to push out at the moment. Now, I want to actually get into the nitty gritty with the Fandom Initiative. Dane, the fame organized chaos who debated dumbly against both Eric July and EVS. And that's not even the main meal. Vito, if anyone knows about him, co-host of Dick Masterson of the greatest podcast on the universe, blah, blah, blah. Has a super killer, did a review for it. This is going to be quite thing, but let's start with this real quick clip from Master Gamergate expert, Dane. Let's see what we can learn. He's gonna do something on. Let me just let the clip play for itself.
I mean, you have more of a hold or a handle on like the Gamergate stuff. So you'd probably be, if he wanted to talk about it or whatever, it'd have to be because I only know surface level stuff of Gamergate 1. So,
well, I mean, speaking of, actually, I don't have it's not like I'm an expert, but by Sunday I will be, and on Sunday the Fapcast is covering fucking Gamergate.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
We're doing the Gamergate episode finally.
Oh damn!
I'm going to be watching a lot of Innuendo Studios between now and then.
Oh god.
Discussions with
I'm with Bob right on it. And you know what? If you want to actually get into Gamergate, why not learn from people who were in Gamergate? We got Brianna Wu, Short Fat Otaku, some loser, and good old Tachyon Blue, who's wrote a book on Gamergate, and he's continuing to do interviews to write the definitive Gamergate book for the 10-year anniversary or something like that. I would recommend other people to people like Dane, Bob, and the Fandom Initiative and Totally, but at least this is a better source than fucking Indo Window Studio, who fucking uses Gamergate like all the other journos with his crazy lefty conspiracies about it out there. So, now that I got all that fun stuff out of the way, this is rather complex. So I'm gonna bring up something off screen. So Vito decided to, jump into the discourse, and he invited a very a very interesting journalist to talk to him about Gamergate. Let's get a little bit of highlights from it. Of course, this source might be a little bit biased. I can sort of back it up to a certain extent. Good old Nathan Grayson. Okay, put it like this. So, former contributor of blah, 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 Kotaku. Basically, it was one of the five guys, and the five guys was Zoe Quinn, that one dude. I believe he's the one who declined to cover Zoe Quinn, competitor. I say that with air quotes, with the fine young capitalist who was doing good things for women in gaming, or that's what I hear. That sort of kicked it off in a couple different ways. So he was in a relationship with Sweet Baby Inc. I almost said that with all Zoe Quinn, who really kicked off all the fun stuff that we hear about in Gamergate nowadays. So now the audience has that. Let's not even get into the Vito interview because, frankly, the Vito interview doesn't have a lot of meat in its bone. I will have to be thanking good old Tony from the Geek Getaway. He might be completely inept at, actually having any ethics or intelligence at going. But if there's one thing that man is good at, is getting people to come onto his stream. Got to give props where props are due. So let's get into that. At the timestamp, I want to get at it and get to the correct timestamp. And
help me. And they go, oh, Sweet Baby Inc can help me. And then Sweet Baby Inc's like, well, I got this opportunity. Oh, Sweet Baby Inc can help me. And then
yeah, I'm gonna spare you. I'm gonna bring on when Vito comes on because they're covering it. There's a lot of flappity bullshit. You can even find it here, which I'll comment on. A lot of good insight. Let me speed this up a little bit before I'll get going because, yeah, I know I talk slow, but these guys talk even slower.
Sweet Baby Inc's like, well, I got this opportunity to change things while I'm here.
Or another way of thinking.
Oh, here comes Vito to yell at us. Vito, why you let this guy go unopposed?
I will actually cover up Vito's face. I mean, you want to see it? You can go watch this Tony stream. There it is. Might as well cover it up. Nothing to see there. He's there. You can see him in double. At least I'm taking him out of the double vision thing.
Unopposed on what? On what?
First off, he brought up about bounding into comics not being, leftist enough for him, and he was all like, "Oh no, they're wrong and they're being biased."
Are you going to defend bounding into comics right now?
You made me. I had to defend bounding into comics. First, you guys didn't read the article. You kept skipping things that were written in the article to focus on one part of the sentence instead of the whole.
I'm not going to read a whole fucking article on screen. What did I miss?
Okay, so the whole thing with Alan Wake 2, the lady gives a speech about being an empowered black woman. You didn't discuss that part of the comment. You just.
Yeah, I'll get into Alan Wake too, but you know what? Let me start with the important stuff, then jump to the stuff that people will probably give me more shit for, because this is definitely more important. Secondary source, we'll go with that.
She wasn't race swapped, so obviously that other part was fake.
Okay, did Sweet Baby write that?
Yes, they helped write the narrative.
Whoa! Did Sweet Baby write that scene?
And for the record, she was race swapped from a sort of Easter egg in Quantum Break 8 years ago. And I can't believe... Yeah. Let me not hang myself too early in the stream.
Did Sweet Baby write that particular... I don't have that information. Do you have that information?
Shut the fuck up.
So do you know... Did Sweet Baby Inc write that scene?
Yes.
You're the one making the claim.
So neither of us know. I'm asking a question, and you're making a declarative statement, Vito. I'm saying I don't know. I would like the answer, and you're saying no, they didn't.
Hold on, Tony. Okay, neither of us know who wrote that scene.
Right.
So what do you want me to do? You want me to go, hey, did Sweet Baby write that scene? Is that what you want me to do?
I want you to go, hey, is it possible that Sweet Baby wrote that scene? To even entertain the idea of it? See, look, you're laughing like it's so ludicrous that they might put that in the fucking game.
But like, okay, maybe they did. I don't know. And you don't know.
Yeah.
But
the point is, we don't know, and you didn't ask.
But
you
had
an
opportunity to. Hey, my super chats are open, cocksuckers. Okay.
You know what else was open? You know what was open? Us being on the panel. You could have had us there.
Shut the fuck up.
That is Tony's true method. Always trying to get onto other people's stream because that's all he's got. Just a stupid little act. No brains, no ethics, nothing but a big mouth just running off, saying the first thing that comes to his mind, which is incorrect. He's one of these jackasses who, frankly, it would be better if he just shut up about this because he's just too dumb.
No one is allowed to say that I didn't ask a question because I said specifically, if you have a question, super chat it and I'll ask it. You can't go, I don't understand. You had your fucking opportunity and you were a cheapskate mother.
Just to let you know, no one really put out any decent super chats on that stream. You can go through it yourself. I think there's even a lie here if I'm remembering correctly about Lofty. Lofty does come up. I can see a super chat from him.
It's $2. Not a lot of money.
That is the most anti-Semitic comment Vito has ever made.
What the hell, Tony? You're trying to afford $2? What the hell, man?
I can't cover every single fucking thing. I can't. There's too much. So I don't want a discussion about what I didn't get because you had.
Did you have questions?
Shut the fuck up. What? Look, what did I do on Twitter? What did I say on Twitter? What did I tell you in DMs? I said, I'm talking to Nathan Grayson. If you have any questions about Sweet Baby, let me know. I then read questions from guys like Lofty Pixels and whoever else.
I did not see Lofty Pixels in the chat. Bullshit. Okay. Maybe I missed it. Maybe this is bullshit. Probably, likely bullshit. Unless I missed something. Okay. There is a possibility. I sort of glazed over for that fucking interview, that softball sweeping of Sweet Baby Inc by someone who was into the Gamergate bull crap.
You didn't say. Says, why cover it poorly then? What research did you do prior to this, Vito? What research did you do?
I have an entire document full of research. When did you say, ask him if Sweet Baby wrote this one particular scene?
Well, I didn't know what you were going to talk about until we were watching it. We're literally.
If it's
it wasn't important until we watched you say it and just like fucking let him dismiss it.
Bro,
move on, Tony. Move on to the important things. This is why you're a failure as a journalist and a failure in life. Okay.
They have worked on dozens of games. I'm not going to sit there and ask that guy about every single scene. And
I didn't ask you. See, no. You're making a fallacy. I didn't ask you to ask me about every scene. You were reading the article and it mentioned it. It was on the fucking screen that you were looking at. It was right there. He
doesn't work there. If I asked him if they wrote it, he would say, I don't know. He doesn't work at Sweet Baby. What do you want?
You could have said, hey, do you think that it's possible that Sweet Baby wrote that? The same way I asked you and got you to admit that it was a possibility.
So let's assume we said yes. What are you going to do with that information? What does that prove?
that proves that the conspiracy is not all this wild and wacky thing that you're painting it to be. That there is a possibility that is true. That there's a possibility that the preponderance of evidence that people have pointed to might actually be accurate, Vito. That's the problem.
There's an equal.
Yeah. Just going along with that. Hey, Timon. Going along with that narrative is so freaking brain dead. It's not even worth addressing. Okay, you're asking the wrong questions here. What you should be asking is, okay, what sort of content would a company be doing that they would need to bring in Sweet Baby Inc? That's the better question. Not if they wrote it. Don't go along with their narrative, Tony. Wake up. Know how to fight this. No, sorry, of course you don't know how to fight this. You know how to just talk trash and make accusations. You don't know how to credibly get anything out of people. This is why probably people like Vito, EVS will come on. You're just the clown who will just gaslight a big audience because of your big Air July hate boner. I'm not going to call him a grifter, but he has a lot of grifter-like characteristics. Yep, Vito interviewed the Sweet Baby guy. I might be covering it a bit. So.
Possibility that whoever writes at the studio just put that in themselves. I don't know. Also,
you guys also talked about DI.
Hold on. Why is that scene bad?
Why is it bad? It's just a bad scene, just badly written.
Why? Because a black lady in America complains about white people. You don't think?
I swear. I took just a few minutes earlier. I'm like, okay, that is a good question from Vito. It would be nice to have an answer for it. Okay. But of course, it's just bad. Is it bad? Okay. Sorry, you guys are going to make me have to sort of softly defend Alan Wake 2. Okay. Not now. Okay. It's not going to be a hard defense. So keep that in mind. It's just like, I'll give my perspective. Okay. I can defend it. Why it's not bad. Maybe I'll even try to say why it is bad. Okay. You need to do that.
Think that happens? You don't think there's like, remember, okay, let's put it like this way. You remember the Batman, where Catwoman goes like, it's just a bunch of guys with white privilege or whatever. And everybody was really mad. And I said, Black woman is a young black woman in America. Of course she believes in white privilege. That's very accurate for her to say stupid shit like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. True to the character. If the character is racist, write him as racist. Okay, it's Catwoman. It's not someone you need to be concerned about. That never bothered me, okay? Why is this the example? They'll just say the game was always going to be represented to Sweet Baby Inc. Being there doesn't change anything and justice have moved on. Then why does Sweet Baby Inc. need to exist? Okay, there is a reason for its existence. And now that they've made asses out of themselves with the Streisand effect, we know who will hire them and who won't. Who is hardline, because no matter if I want to admit it or not, all these sort of games that I'm willing to put a soft defense on, like Starfield, Dead Space Remake, there are progressive elements worked into those. Automatically jumping to them being woke, I think is stupid. Woke, I consider, is pushing it down people's throat, going to the extreme. And different people will have different lines there, but that's going to be for Saturday night stream. But it's definitely indication that Sweet Baby Inc. there, yeah, they want to wokeify something. They don't care about story. Anyone who uses them, sorry, went a little mush mouth there. Going to have a drink after I do this. But anyone who uses them don't care about having good story, good writing, or anything like that. They care about DEI, making sure they don't offend anyone. And as an artist, that definitely offends me. Yeah, the ultimate dumbass team up. And I should be rooting for Tony here, but he's such a dumbass with his questions. He's not writing. He's not asking the right questions to Vito. This is why these guys go on a stream. Vito, EVS, they can just walk all over him. It's just pathetic, okay? But, you know, some people have to. It serves a purpose, at least.
Doesn't mean the developer believes it. It's what the character believes. Not everything a character says is something the developer is telling you. Oh, yeah, white people are bad. Do you really think that Alan Wake is about white people being bad? No, it's something a character believes.
Okay, but they have to approve that, right? They can say, hey, you know what? We don't think that's good for our game. Let's just leave that out. Right? Let's not alienate part of our audience.
Well,
And
clearly
not
they
include
didn't
it.
alienate. Well, I mean, whatever portion of their audience was alienated was outweighed by the fact that that game's a big success. So obviously, it's a balancing game. Some stuff you put in a narrative, yeah, it might turn certain people off, but it also might be other people being like, "Hey, that's an authentic black character. That feels like Black Lady."
I agree 100%. The argument isn't whether or not it's an authentic black character or not. The argument is whether or not Sweet Baby Inc was responsible for the line.
Okay, but
Yeah, but if you get into it, responsibility. Why is everyone trying to place the blame on people? Okay, Sweet Baby Inc is a big red flag that these people want to just wokeify something. How much do they want to wokeify it? How tweaky do they get with it? Do they just want corporate pat on the head approval, or do they want serious wokeification? That's something you can't determine, but you can determine that anyone who hires this consultation group cares about pushing a certain idea, even if they don't legitimately believe in it and they're just doing it for capitalistic concerns. The intent does not change the outcome. Perfectly. I don't know why people aren't getting this through.
let's assume they're responsible for the line. Okay, let's assume that we 100% they came out and they said we wrote that line. What does that prove about Sweet Baby?
I can't even really find that line in it, but you know what? I got something later. Okay, let's see if Az brings it up in his review. I'm hoping he does. I want to see his opinion. See if maybe I'll agree with him for once. Sort of doubt it, but challenge myself. Try to be fair to even Thumb Man.
That they're forcing diversity into games?
Sorry,
Or that they thought it was an authentic character, that authentic line that fit that character. Is it like out of the question for that character to speak that line based on who that character is, based on what we?
Yeah, if Tony wanted to pursue this lines, he should have brought this up. Okay, you can't just someone like Vito doubly. I don't even know if it would work on Vito. Fuck that. Okay, maybe Tony's got the right idea. Just press him on it.
Of black women in America and the kind of shit they say, especially when they're like running in activist circles. Like that's the thing. Shouldn't characters in fiction
they're
reflect?
also preventing other narratives from existing. They're preventing other forms of art from existing. That's our problem.
I don't understand that at all. Which form of art is not allowed to exist because Alan Wake had a line about white people in it?
White people's art.
Forget Alan Wake. I'm saying in general.
I mean, there's a lot of white people making art. I don't like. Look, I think this is silly.
But hold on, because did you notice that we went from it's not they didn't do that to well, if they did, it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's definitely worth bringing up. Something I'm going to be bringing up. Okay, it's barely defendable. Okay, barely. Okay, there's a lot of problems with it. I don't even want to defend it. Why are these people making me defend a game that I don't think is probably worth defending? Assholes. Okay, but I need to dive into it and not be a complete dumb media illiterate ass. Okay, that's what I'm against. I don't care what it is. If I'm not honest about what I do, maybe I can be hyperbolic about it, but if I'm not honest, why the fuck do it? Okay, you're the same fucking grifters who do everything else in this world. Okay, I want a core of trying to be honest. I can fuck up, bias and all, but hell,
that they did it.
I
didn't. You know how we yeah, you did. You said it would be more authentic to the character. That's what a black woman in America would sound like. I disagree. I know lots of black women that don't sound anything like that. So I think that's not an authentic experience of a black.
I haven't seen the scene. Okay,
like Tony is just so fucking dumb. Ugh. Anecdotal experience that's probably complete bullshit. Tony doesn't fucking know women. He doesn't interact with anyone decent outside the internet. He can barely. Okay, maybe this is a character. Maybe all his personalities act, but he's a freaking spurg. Okay, going off on that. He's just a D-list personality. I'm glad he's got his ass. Okay, more power to him, but he's doing it off of a black man's expense and trying to milk Eric July, which why I might have my issues with Eric July. I think what he does and all the haters of Eric July are simply pathetic.
I've seen like a screenshot of the scene. I haven't watched the full scene. I don't know the character in context.
Vito Ease, okay, he got Nathan Grayson, one of the 5 guys from Zoe Quinn to come White Knight for Sweet Baby. Wasn't total bullshit. He'll admit some things in the interview, like DEI is proven statistically to not work. Got to give him some praise, but they completely obfuscate they actually don't completely obfuscate the sort of harassment towards the Cabrutus, the Sweet Baby Inc detective. But they brush upon it in the interview and then move on to argue against it. I mean, it's at least more fair than a lot of these jackass journalists. So give credit due where it is due. Maybe I'll even get into that next.
Text. Okay, maybe there's a bad line in there, and she says something about white people.
Wait a minute, we're talking about authority without even knowing what the scene is.
Well, Tony, have you played through Alan Wake 2?
I've watched the playthrough.
It's a game about shooting.
Well, I haven't played it, but I've watched it. It's like saying, I could sit there and watch someone play it. That does not take away from the fact that I've witnessed the scene, right? You can laugh and say, "Yeah, Tony didn't play it," but I watched the playthrough.
Okay, but what is the concern? The concern is that video game companies go to this company, okay, and the company offers their writing services. Why do you believe the company offers their writing services? What is their primary?
According to their mission statement, they offer their writing services in order to force inclusion and diversity in the gaming industry. In fact, the CEO herself,
he's not even getting this right. Okay, they're just basically grifted their way in with the Anita Sarkeesian method of you don't want to be considered racist. Hint, hint, hire us. Has that been proven? Fucking, this is such a waste.
Said we work really hard to get minorities into positions. We protect them to keep their positions, and then hopefully that now these quote unquote dope individuals will be in positions of authority in order to change the industry from working the way it's always has.
So they're acting like mob bosses, enforcers.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble following this line of
yeah, that is giving them way too much credit. They're more like con artists, okay? They're the racketeers, okay? They're not the mob bosses. They're the little racketeers for themselves, okay? They're self-made people, and I hope they get the kick. Metaphorically, I hope they get black, white, and blue. I'm hoping they don't get scapegoated so everyone forgets about all the other DI cringe out there. Again, I'm on the line. I frankly think a little bit of progressivism is a way to mitigate some. I actually believe in the diversity of thoughts, okay? But too far? Yeah, what they did is too far. They should not get work again. They should think about having a code of ethics at their little institute instead of thinking that they can just get the journalists to all create a narrative and run with it like they did last Gamergate.
So this lady who works at the company says they actively try to get minorities into positions of powers within the video game industry in order to actively change the way it runs and it works.
Sure.
And the output that comes out of it. When don't she said it. I didn't say it. I'm not making the claim. I can play the clip
on record. Play.
To be fair, it's only Vito who's running defense. These guys are grifters. They'll grift off. Well, I don't know about him. I know Tony's a grifter. This guy's a loser. I think he's a leftist loser even. Okay. They're grifters. Okay. They're actually on the right side of this, but they're going about it in such a retarded way. I have to believe they're running control opposition, appearing to go against Vito to make him look intelligent. But that could be just by default. That's why I hate really fucking dumbasses like this trying to just chase the clout why they can.
The clip if you want. Yeah.
None of that strikes me as insidious in any way. You now have to tell me why that's bad.
So you don't think that it's bad?
See, he can't. Oh, okay. Is he gonna? He's gonna ask the question. He can't actually say why it's bad. You have no motivation. You have no conviction, Tony. You're going after Vito because he's got a hot take. And yeah, Vito's got a hot take. Fucking the dude defended cuties, okay? Why the fuck do you think he would have a good take, okay?
Someone forcing their political agenda into an industry that didn't ask for it?
But they are asking for it. They're hiring Sweet Baby. It's completely optional to hire that company.
So let me break it down this way.
No, hold on.
So
Let me just say one thing. If the market has said, we want these companies, we want writing help. We want narrative consultants to
The
make
market
sure
said that?
Yeah, the
Yes,
market has not
yes.
said that.
The market has not said
Absolutely.
that.
Yes, they have, dumbasses, because the market thinks this is good. Okay, they pulled the wool over the eyes. They're not seeing this shit now. Thank God they slipped up, caused the Streisand effect, and at least this one company is going to be branded justifiably. I'm just hoping we don't just say, oh, settled and done, or they do a Uno reverse and do another Gamergate, even though this new movement is not freaking Gamergate. Okay, Gamergate was about ethics. This is something different. So I really don't like the branding, but I nitpick.
The
Call of Duty is one of the most popular games, and I don't think they're like, hey, you know what we really need to make the Call of Duty game better? If we got an outside firm fucking consulting that, they just care about shooting each other.
Okay, okay, look, I get it now. What you guys are missing is the reason why Sony hired these dipshits is to have an excuse so they can actually file for the tax credits on diversity, all that bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Hold on.
Okay, finally, something resembling reality. Thank you.
Which tax credits?
The equity, diversity, and inclusion tax
The
credits.
DEI.
And how do you qualify for those tax credits?
You get yourself a whole lot of black people in your production.
Let me be clear. The tax credit issue is completely beside the point. Companies have to be fairly large to have access to that.
Disney lived it for the last 8 years.
Right.
Now.
So one of the points I wanted to bring up there in a second ago was we were talking about sort of the mafioso sort of aspect of it. When unions in the cartoonish industry did something very similar to this in the 1940s and 50s, right? It's the same situation. Basically, certain groups, certain unions, whether that was based off their union affiliation or based off of their background, ethnically, whatever you want to call it, there were Jewish guilds, and my grandfather had involvement with them back in the day of artists and cartoonists.
Systems of the 1940s.
Well, no, more of the cartoonist artwork
exactly.
and the
and it's
like
being reinforced right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet Baby Inc.
But
has really no defense. They can deflect by trying to poison the well. Oh, the Sweet Baby Inc. thing. They're just like the Kiwi farmers. They're just like 4chaners. Okay, you cannot prove that. In fact, from what I hear, Cabrutus, the person who started it, is from south of the border. Okay, they should be all up on our sort of south of the border person. Okay, maybe Brazil. I think he might not have the greatest understanding of our language and other things. And let me not defend him too hard. He can defend himself. He's done everything right that he can. Okay, I have criticisms that they put some things off of IMDb, but he took it off rather quickly from what I've seen. Okay. And I can't blame him for that. Okay. He seems connecting him just because it's similar thoughts is such fucking bullshit, such paint in a broad brush. Cabrutus seems to have no knowledge of Gamergate, no knowledge of any of this 4chan, Kiwi Farms bullshit, but they got their narrative. They got their big bag boogeymen who harass people, even if that was done off the back of the Keffels bullshit, but let me not get into that.
But my point being that the parasitic nature of it is, if you are all part of the same environment, you can go to a group of people and say, hey, maybe if you don't do the thing we want you to do, you get bad coverage. And so that was what happened then. Walt Disney didn't want to work with specific union groups, and for it, he got panned as being a horrible person by the media companies that were connected to those union groups.
He was.
Well, some of the stuff was accurate, some of it wasn't. I mean,
we did an in-depth dive on Walt Disney. It was a huge scandal. He broke up the unions. He got his
So the backstory there,
all the productions that happened in Disney animation between the 40s and 60s were all supposed to be were under copyright, and they never paid a dime to the rights holders.
Right. Who says thank you for not killing yourselves?
A lot of that had to do with the whole communist era and a lot of that stuff playing into the union work. Which
all right, forget all that. Forget all that. Let's focus back on the interview. In the interview, Nathan literally said that DEI scores does not get you more investment. Then, not 5 minutes later, he talks about how improving your DEI score was going to get you more investments. Literally, he was literally went, no, see, DEI doesn't get you more investments, and he listed a whole bunch of.
I almost want to fact check on him, but it's a waste of time. Sorry, they went over this whole thing. You need certain qualifications, and it's just a simple fact that the consultant firm is not going to actually contribute. You got to give Vito some props here and there. Okay, he's proven that the narrative that he's cherry picking from some of these more extreme people doesn't pan out. But he barely addresses some of the more valid arguments out there. That's why I hate a lot of people having stupid arguments, incorrect arguments out there, just talking out their ass, because it gives ammo to the other side. And you know what? That sounds rather flawed. I'd rather idiots shut up instead of try to push their sort of own narrative, because it can be debunked and used by the other side to say, yeah, this stuff is crap.
Reasons why. And then he started talking about DEI and how it actually works. He goes, and then if you do this and you get your DEI up to a certain level, you'll get more investments coming in. He literally went from it doesn't to it does.
I'm going to say I do not remember him saying that. What I do remember him saying is that you cannot raise your DEI score by the specific content you put into your media. So no ESG.
Based on what? Wait. How does it?
I know people who've dealt with corporations who use these DEI scores. That's not true at all.
Okay.
The content is one. What, like a company or individual?
Give an example of how you think you can raise your DEI score.
The content you produce as a company certainly plays a role, and the things your people say who work at your company.
Vito's asking for an example.
Also, Vito is sort of passing the buck. They're talking about DEI. Okay, there's still a certain amount of leeway within ESG, because you look into ESG. How that score is calculated, who the fuck knows? That's why there's been issues with ESG, because people are looking into it and it seems like a scam. Okay, watch Upper Echelon's video. Very solid reporting. I'm hoping it's accurate. Okay, seems legit. But if you base your evidence off of false information, there can be problems. But you try to be accurate with what you're saying. And they sort of shifted it from ESG. Hell, even moving into DEI is a massive mistake. They should be talking about the ethics of this consulting company doing what they're doing, and freaking journalists who are running cover trying. Oh shit. As I said, I don't like to cover the same shit as other people, but there's people who are discovering that some of these institutes that are denouncing this, people who are against Sweet Baby Inc, are like funded by Homeland Security. That's what I hear. Those are the rumors. It seems somewhat legit. I haven't tracked down the data myself. I like to try to be honest. Seems legit. Haven't actually done the research, but if that is true, that is severely fucked. Okay, especially when the FBI proving that Gamergate originally did nothing wrong. Let me repeat this for people. There's people out there. The FBI freaking investigated the Gamergate movement, and there was nothing of major significance that they could charge or even find wrong with it. But the narrative has been shifted. It's considered a harassment campaign on Wikipedia. Again, why I hate the freaking Wikipedia and IMDb, any of those sites that can be changed, because that does not reflect reality closely. Don't buy the bullshit.
Movie, a TV show, whatever. List it.
The one that I have any notoriety with is BP Oil, so it's not going to be the same equivalence.
All right, okay. I'll help you out. Ghostbusters 2016. How are we doing?
Okay, so
no. Okay, hold on.
No,
Hold on.
Tony, shut the
No,
fuck
I'm not going to shut the fuck up. It's my show, goddammit. I'm going to show you. This is exactly 2 effective ways for companies to achieve more measurable results in DIR. 1, modifying hiring practices, align company recruitment and retention efforts with leadership's DI goals, address biases in recruiting, promotion, and recognition. 2,
this is such a fucking waste of time. I don't even know why they're going over it. Look at this. To achieve this, companies should emphasize to management that diversity and equality initiatives aren't considered extras, but instead are critical towards demonstrating real change. Hiring a consultancy firm would not probably apply to that. Maybe I'm incorrect, but all this shit here is a complete waste of time. Waste his time on a very fucking weak argument.
Interviews and statements from people involved in these firms, you're the one who's wrong.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Okay. So I'm in a very losing position right now. There's nothing I can do. I lose 100% in this situation. because I provided the proof I have, and you're telling me I need more, and I don't have it. So you win.
Well, I mean, like, earlier I mentioned an example involving BP. My example there is I have a very good friend of mine who I've known for 15 years.
What does oil have to do with games?
Oh, it's actually kind of funny. So they fired him, who was one of their, at the time, number 2 or 3 marketing sales guys for BP in Alaska, along with 5 other employees, for no reason. And then 3 months later, after he started working for another oil company, one of the guys who was his boss at BP, who also got fired, admitted to him that, yeah, they canned everybody because they were going for a higher score within ESG and DEI inclusion. That was the exact reason given to him.
Yes, because sorry, I don't think it was DEI. Yeah, it probably was DEI for the ESG. But yeah, ESG is sort of determining demographics of the workplace. That's completely fucked. Okay, and because they're rated so low, these companies, and ESG has such market force because they have the 2 biggest, baddest people in their corner. That is a problem. And the biggest, baddest other competitors, China. We are fucked, people. Sorry. Okay, there's just nothing we can do except for. Sorry. Let me not get doomer. Okay, maybe there's something we can do, little things here and there. Market forces. Don't get crushed by the man.
I've known too many people in specifically the manufacturing space here who have gotten that same treatment. So I absolutely believe it's going on in other industries. So the stretch to video games
in hiring, yes. Sweet Baby is not a hiring firm. They're not a staffing firm. They have nothing to do with the hiring at these companies.
Well, no, but somebody instigated companies like BP and those organizations to do that. And that's my argument here, is these are the type of people that push those companies into those positions.
Here's what happens. Okay. So BlackRock has multiple funds, right? And the funds are across a variety of different things. One of them could be, we're focused on AI. We're only going to include companies that, focus on AI, or we're only going to focus on companies that, are doing robotics and whatever else. You as an individual investor can invest in those funds. And one of the funds that they set up was these ESG funds, where they go, we're only going to include in this fund companies that we believe are focused on improving the diversity of their company, as well as, again, it's what ESG. So also environmental. They're addressing their environmental impact. They're addressing their social impact, and whatever the I stands for. Okay. And you as an individual investor can choose to invest in that firm if your beliefs align with that firm. So as an investor, you can go, I believe, because I'm a big stupid idiot, because I think it's been proven that these funds are a big scam. I believe that companies that focus on reducing their environmental footprint and hiring a bunch of black people and whatever else, I think those companies are going to make a shit ton of money. So I'm going to put my money into that fund. We went over the numbers on the stream. The amount of money that has been invested in that fund controls is $8 billion. The whole
you almost have to admire how freaking by the collar Vito is taking these people. Okay, he's getting them so far off the path and then brings them back. What does that have to do with Sweet Baby Inc? Keep it focused on the group. The ethics of the journalist right now, like the journalist Vito just interviewed. Vito, the ethics are fucked on Vito to start with. Okay, I don't even know how he can defend it. But of course, these are not the sort of guys who can defend anything from ethical standpoint. So they're sort of fucked there. Okay, and finally, control opposition. This is what it seems like. Vito's just taking them by the little chain and giving them little bits like here and there, and like, yeah, I can't win. All the facts and data can't convince you. No, keep it on task. Keep it on Sweet Baby Inc. and what they did, and probably what the indication of what their place in the marketplace. And I'm probably wasting my time. And I'm just a broken loop. Just pointing out Vito is leading them along like a freaking champ.
All of BlackRock is something like 7 trillion, is it? It's a drop in the bucket compared to actual BlackRock. This was 8 days ago. Okay. BlackRock is scrapping their ESG investing and pivoting to focus solely on the environmental component. You do not have to worry about this ESG stuff because they're not doing it anymore because it doesn't make money.
Let me be clear. That is not that what they're doing. And I've read through a bunch of the stuff as far as the actual business angle of that decision they've made. They're not refocusing all those things. They're just refocusing into one part of it, the environmental angle. And that, by the way, if you read into what they mean by the environmental angle, that includes all the inclusion stuff. They're just rephrasing the terminology. so that basically people like us don't talk about it anymore.
Yeah, they changed the words. but
Stoneface, just Stoneface on veto when you said that.
Wow, Tony got someone who knows a little bit of shit on his panel. Bravo. Bravo to Liam Tits. Horrible name. Horrible name. Someone with half a brain, okay? But still getting off the points.
Well, because you have to point me to evidence of that. I have.
Well, I'm not going to go through Business Insider articles here on the stream and do 3 hours of reading
What do
for
you
you,
mean?
Vito. You were
Okay.
doing an interview. You should have done that beforehand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Another question I wasn't asked. Okay. So when BlackRock says we're dropping ESG, they're lying. And the evidence of them
It's
lying.
not that they're lying. They're doing, again, do you assume that when a company says they're doing something, they're being completely honest and not facetious or
rebranded?
I don't know.
half-truths or-
That's why I wait for evidence to prove me wrong. So what is this wording that they're not actually dropping it?
Oh, and look, little perp, Dane's old partner. Horrible name. Why do all these people have such fucking horrible names?
Okay, let me phrase it this way, Vito. Can you show me anywhere in the article that you're reading off of where it actually says they're making the steps to reduce the environmental side, keeping that strong, but moving the other things away? They're not doing that anymore. It just says they're not doing it, and they're moving all of that into the environmental side. Period. That's what
BlackRock
the
is
decision was.
scrapping environmental social governance and pivoting to focus solely on the environmental component.
Yes, and the underscale of a lot of the DEI people, the people actually pushing the stuff at the top end with actual power and money, they do believe that.
Okay. So can you connect that to Sweet Baby?
Well, yeah, I could make the argument that Sweet.
See what I'm saying? Takes them down this completely different line, and like, what does that have to do with Sweet Baby? Fucking just wasting their time, okay? Making them look like idiots to a certain amount. I mean, they already look like idiots in my eyes, and that's what's expected, I think, even by their audiences.
Baby, as a company, is one of many things that exist to push other larger companies into a position that pro DEI and pro ESG groups want. That is the mafia claim. That's the whole point. Because listen, if they have
how big do you think
writers
Sweet Baby is? How big of a company would you estimate?
Small, but it doesn't have to be big. That was the argument I made with the mafia earlier. Because
how small though?
Again,
Like, give me an estimate.
You 16 people work there, according
10
to Vito.
people, 20 people. I mean, yeah.
So with 10 to 20 people, you can take a $1 trillion investing firm and completely capitulate this agenda. It takes 10 people to push the needle.
If you have the right ideology in place and you are equipped to do it and have the power, yes, absolutely.
Oh, it's just like that. Wait a minute, Vito. It's just like the gun lobby. It's a very, very small group, but they do have a powerful influence in their reach and their.
The gun lobby has powerful influence because the gun lobby has a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
but it's a very small.
Okay, well, I'll point out here the gun lobby, in comparison to a lot of other lobbies, is very small.
Yes, Sweet Baby Inc is in reaction to all these things, and their particular consultation obviously is shit. Take it back to the games, guys. See, I hate fucking idiots who talk about fucking politics when it comes to the culture war. All about politics, politics, politics. The point is about video games, okay? How Sweet Baby Inc and all this bullshit, that there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of conspiracies, a lot of hate going towards these ideas. Bring it back to the video games, and you can't fucking do it because you're fucking way too political brain, okay? You're making these far-reaching arguments, okay? This is not how you do it. Just such a waste.
So the point here is that yes, size plays a big point of view. If Sweet Baby was thousands of people stretched.
Miss Sparkles, does size matter? I'm asking you as a woman. Just curious.
Across the US, they'd have a lot more ability to enact these things. The whole point of things like what BlackRock, when they're talking about we force these things, we do these things, and the ESG people and all these people saying the same thing, the point there is that you don't want a giant company doing this. You want thousands of tiny companies sort of doing the same thing. Everybody makes some money, everybody writes their articles, everybody's happy, and you get to control the industry, making it.
They don't care about the industry. It is a scam, okay? They're using these activists to make money, okay? They're being fucking used. They're going to be thrown away now, okay? If they can't sort of redefine what ESG is with some word games. Oh, okay. Okay. Fair enough, fair enough.
restricted in a way because
here's what I'm going to argue. We're talking about video game plots, right? Video game plots are massive, and these are massive companies. Okay, so a video game plot not only has a main plot, it has subplots, it has diary entries, it has audio logs, it has so much that they need to cover. Now, what this company Sweet Baby provides is writing help. So they might step in. Again, the example in Kill the Justice League is they said, well, the main story was already finished, so we just
maybe okay, but you want to keep it focused. This in a debate setting, you don't want to let a slippery motherfucker like Vito or any leftist take you down a tangent that he can use to call you conspiracy theorist. Okay, you don't want to do it. Yeah, personal opinion. Okay, optics matters. Okay. You let people go off on a tangent like this. It doesn't matter how correct they are. It's about how crazy you can make people look. It's pathetic. And you are the way to get to the gamers is by talking about the games. You want to act like you care about gaming. Don't go off on this whole culture war bullshit. Okay. Simple as that. It's a matter of tactics. Okay. And these tactics are freaking retarded. And yeah, I like this guy. Okay. He's got a decent head on his shoulders. I don't know why he hangs out with fucking Tony. Maybe there's a little bit too much weed in there. Who knows?
Just needed these guys to step in and help with some of the ancillary stuff, like again, diary logs, or like people on the street, what they might yell at each other.
Did you read the diary logs, Vito?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing more for it. Okay. I think he dips out in a couple of minutes anyways. Okay, so moving along. Nothing to see here. No more Vito's face here. Not going to get into Vito. Well, maybe I'll get back into Vito a little bit later. Okay. But yeah, plenty of stuff. Let me actually expose you to an even worse face, an even dumber person, just to be fun. Okay, maybe I shouldn't do this. Give these credence any credit at all. Let's look at the expert on Sweet Baby Inc that the Fandom Initiative is going with. And look at the optics.
The perfect chambray shirt is crucial for
here. As soon as my ad, Eric DeBone's so honest. He has to play ads. Okay. You know, he cares so much about the community. And I just don't know how much of the cringe I want to play, but let's get a little bit of experience.
Till we get it. Video games, TV shows, movies, musicals, comic books, cartoons, all of it has to be wrapped in pride flags, or we're not satisfied. At least that's the narrative I'm getting from a lot of these bobble-headed bigot pundits on social media who are going on and on about the Sweet Baby Inc stuff.
That's not about pride flags necessarily. Dude is dumb as a box of rocks, okay? And look at the title. Sweet Baby Inc is worse than you thought, if you're an idiot.
Connected to video games and video game development as a consultation firm, because that's the thing, is Sweet Baby Inc is a consultation firm. If you haven't heard about this drama over the last couple of weeks, there's been sort of this like exposed situation with Sweet Baby Inc, which is kind of weird because their website has existed all of this time. They were not hiding any of the projects they were working on. So this idea that they're being exposed for some kind of insidious thing is just...
Let's see. Oh, yeah, there is one. Sweet Baby Inc history exposed. Okay. Yeah. Defended. Sweet Baby Inc defended by Zombiac Games. He has all this shit up on the screen. He's not going to... One of the titles out of the 4 he has there. And why are they latching on to Hypnotic? Because he's sort of going ahead with it. Quartering, I understand. He's sort of a clown. Okay. Some people like him. Some people don't.
Complete misrepresentation and deception, really. Because it's not...
Yeah. You're completely misrepresenting the broader argument. You're playing fucking word games to try to be deceptive, okay? But maybe he gets into the facts of the matter. He's just not running cover.
It's not that at all. So what does Sweet Baby Inc do? To sum it up, they are a consultation firm that helps with diversity and representation in video game projects. Like producers, directors, writers can go to them and they pay them some money. They come in, they look at what they have and they go, hey, you could do this to make this more authentic, more representative of like today's world, if that's what you're going for in your game. Literally, they are there to consult. And they've already made it very obvious they're not part of some like points program or anything like that. They are literally a consultation firm that is there to help with those things. But these guys here on YouTube would have you believe that they are driving the writing and storytelling in games to the point where they are making the entire games. They are writing these entire games with.
Yeah, and anyone who's been in that narrative is a dumbass. Okay, I don't even believe people are saying this outright. Okay, you're taking the weakest argument. This is what I hate about this. There is going to be some dumbass you can point out. There's some cherry picking thing. You'd be like, yeah, why not show this? If this is what they're saying, it DJ Eric, yeah, go with it.
With all of this like ideology and stuff in it, because they want to turn it into something bigger than what it is. So let's go ahead and debunk that right away.
And let's hope
if Sweet Baby Inc was full of people that were capable of writing games, writing these stories, making these things happen, why on earth would they be a consultation firm and not a company that makes their own projects? Why would they?
Because they want control, greater control in the industry. Okay. They weasel themselves in with the Indian Sarkeesian methodology to get into these. And once they had decent writing staff on board, from what it seems like to be the beginning, what really kicked this off in a lot of gamers' mind, what was it? Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. That's what we got. Corporate garbage cloaked in this fucking pseudo wokeism. Okay, that is, it's a story. It's just half the problem with that.
Do that. Why would these studios pay them to do this, to come through as a secondary person, group of people, secondary party, come in and help with these things if they could just pay them to write it from the beginning? Why would they do that? I know there's probably conspiracy theories out there about that, but it doesn't make any sense from a financial standpoint. Why would they pay an extra group of people to do a job that they could just pay them to do it from the beginning? That seems really stupid. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to even bring that up because obviously a consultation.
Oh God, Eric is so informed. Does he show
what makes you feel
any
sexy?
Freaking examples at all and play ads? Dude, no wonder you fucking. Is he going to address any of the high mind concerns?
Less toxicity around queer people in general in public, have it so lawmakers aren't trying to take away rights from us. Like if we had that much power, don't you think we would have?
What does your rights have to do with a video game? Okay, you're not connecting these points. You're using queerness. You're using my bigotry to defend this company in the weirdest fucking way possible.
Have already used it if there was some magical way to do that, because we're being painted as like boogie.
He should actually promote what was it, School of Magic Negroes? There's a movie out there, okay, and it seems cringe. Maybe people will cringe watch it. I'm not gonna watch it. Okay, I'll listen to people make fun of it. Probably it does sound like something worth making fun of.
People that have all this power that can come in and change everything in the world, but we make up such a small percentage of society. And it's like at a certain point, you have to understand that it's a ridiculous idea that the gay card carrying people in the world, the trans card carrying people, or queer people in the world, whatever, however you want to say it, that we have this ability to make things better for us, but we just choose not to do it. We choose to do it in the hardest way.
Just cause and doubt. Just sweep, sweep, sweep. You got anything?
Conflicting information just works. So it doesn't really surprise me that a lot of the people in this space aren't capable of sitting back and going, all of these things cannot be possible at the same time. They can't exist in the same narrative. But these guys, they keep you move so quick, so fast with them, the way they jump from one subject to the next, that you almost don't have time to think about it. If you're lost in the sauce. If you were lost in the sauce of this and you're caught up in it, it's going to be so fast, you're probably not. It's like,
they've been harping on this for the last 2 weeks. Where have you been? Why haven't you looked into it? Okay, you're trying to speak for them. Okay, I got a nice little cut. Let's actually, since Gray is here, it seems a former member of the Fandom Initiative. I just want to highlight this. This brain rot, Charles. Interesting guy. Don't agree with him on everything, but at least he's willing to listen to people. Let's see him listening to people.
Gamergate. Without Gamergate, we wouldn't have had people like him. So it's kind of weird. It kind of brought out bad actors on both sides, but in ways, it really showed that like game journalists aren't necessarily independent. Was kind of the big thing that came out of that, and you know, it kind of sucks. Like we knew, like in the music industry, there was pay for play. Like the actual record labels would pay, you know, radio stations and certain.
Listen to the beautiful voice of Gray here, sort of belt out these tunes. You got a little bit of the queer community representation. Fair enough. How she feels about it. Oh shit. Should have checked the pronouns. I suck with that. Sorry. I'm a loser.
There's been a lot of talk more than actually implementing anything.
Just use Cody, I believe.
Keeping in
Cody,
mind that most of the games that I
want to
play would
respect
be
pronouns.
probably more indie. So I don't know if there's so much heavy influence of that in my little corner of interest. I play mostly.
I'll link this video.
So
this is a good display of people trying to understand.
How was it phrased? Forced diversity in that area of things, as much as, I don't know, big name multiplayer kind of games.
Fair enough.
With that being said,
they're trying to be honest with it.
This group
trying to understand it. A genuine desire to understand this. Okay. They're talking to someone who's representing the Gamergate side. A little bit of a casual gamer,
for me to
a little bit of a mistake.
I would hope that most gamers would be similar. Where
sure, and
go ahead.
I think most are cool with a bunch of different versions of this, like representation and everything. Like, you know, if
let's see, this might be one of mine. I was around for this chat here.
Yeah, the terminology is fucked.
Sounds very offensive. Yeah, I wish she said something else, like a picky eater, something like that. Like, you're never going to experience new flavors if you're a picky eater. I don't know. That doesn't have that negative connotation of like.
And even the crowd, they're talking about Last of Us Part 2. They're talking about the money. Okay, they know these corporations. They don't trust them as much. They're trying to understand the concerns, at least. Don't necessarily do it. They are more on the art side, more in their own head, but they're trying to understand. They're trying to even if they disagree with the Gamergate or this new perspective that is out there, they're trying to understand. You can watch it yourself. I should have linked it beforehand. I think the effort to understand other sides is worth investing your time in. You can, especially when you're in live streams, you can put your 2 cents in there and put it out. But now, don't want to be too hard on them. I'm not being too hard at all. I'm commending this sort of effort to understand other people, even though you legitimately don't agree. Even if I don't like Brianna Wu, great example of someone who's
when they
trying
started
to
doing Java and account development
understand
stuff
this
there.
stuff.
And so around
Making
2014
amends with short fat otaku, commendable. Okay, could she be a bad actor? Yes, I think she is. But you know what? She's trying. Okay, she's at least not going full board, balls to the wall, crazy. So you have to commend that sort of attitude. But let's get into the real cringe now. I got a supercut, and where the hell did I put it? Would be under my name. Is it down here? Oh, did I take it off the list? Please don't tell me that. Oh, yeah, one of my videos. It might be off the list. Nope, here it is. Hour-long supercut. Probably going to fast forward. We're going to get to the beginning. Anyone who's familiar with Dane, you know how good his research method is. I started with that clip. Let's see how within there. I had to cut this down. There's a lot of fluff. Let me just play this.
This buzzword is Sweet Baby Inc or DEI or whatever.
Yeah,
so they're definitely going hard on it. Gamergate 2, that's the newest buzzword.
Yeah. So Sweet Baby Inc, in case people are wondering, is a company that takes over other companies and controls every aspect of the video games. Right? That's how consulting
It's just imagine a video game company. They're working on a video game, and then just like their fucking doors kicked in, right?
Yeah.
And this fucking big, huge, I guess probably lesbians or something, just like Jack Butch lesbians come in and they're like, "Give us a script, we're gonna read it." And they're like, "Okay," and they hand it to them, and they're like, "Oh, what is this? You know, this is
There's not enough black people.
It's not enough black people.
Where's the gays?
You don't have any."
This is just fucking white noise. Blah, blah, blah. Let's try to be funny about this, but be serious about our political agenda. Fair enough. They're trying to do entertainment to a certain degree. But damn, this is just...
Things they view as woke are actually really good. It's the same thing here, right? Like, I've been seeing a lot of quite like revisionism around this whole Sweet Baby Inc thing. Like they worked on games like God of War Ragnarok, which was incredibly well received. It's an incredible game.
But,
yeah, but now like I've seen people go back now and say like, "Oh, God of War Ragnarok was shit and it was woke," and it's like, what the fuck, man? And like
No, there's always been that narrative among people out there Just because you didn't hear it doesn't mean there wasn't a subset of people fighting against it. And there's a subset of people who are like, yes, it's got these elements, but we think the story matters. Like EFAP. Got to give EFAP some credit here and there, but that's besides the point.
They've worked on, like Spider-Man 2, which came out. They also worked on Alan Wake 2, which I've also seen people now who haven't even played the game saying like, "Oh, this is just cheap wokeness and stuff." That game is fucking incredible. It has an insane story. It makes leaps and bounds within gaming, and it like won.
Again, I lament I'm going to have to go to good old thumb man pronouns to sort of do a fact check on that. Okay, let's see what concerns he has. But I have a little display beforehand, so be patient. Gonna speed through this.
Won Game Awards for best narrative and shit. Like people are just trying to make up shit up to be angry about here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, they're just making shit up, just like the trans genocide. That reminds me, I saw the Freedom Tunes. Conservatives generally don't have a good sense of humor. I'll agree with that, but Freedom Tunes, I think he's a little bit more libertarian. That's why he's got that itch.
I mean, I think I have a short, I believe, maybe DJ. I don't know if you would want to repeat that or just want to check out the short.
I'm not sure which one it is, so I mean, you can play it if you want.
This was like, I was having a.
So he's getting this shit from Reddit. Maybe watch the fucking video clown.
What's it called? Like, look to
the Gamergate hat.
Yeah.
There's another thing about this whole Sweet Baby Inc thing that like annoys, man, and it's similar to when there's so much focus
sorry
on
to
wokeness.
annoy
It's like,
you.
It takes away from genuine criticism. Like I generally believe that there's a reason that a lot of gamers are angry about the state of gaming, right? But now these people are trying to attribute it to the wrong thing. It's not about Sweet Baby Inc and wokeness and shit. It's like fucking studio greed. Like as I don't know if you guys like heard a lot about the newest Suicide Squad game.
Yeah.
From the developers that made like the Arkham series, right? Which are some of the most well-received superhero games of all time, and like they're known for making these in-depth single-player story and narrative games,
a good point here.
very action-focused. And then they were basically forced by Warner Bros., like the studio above them, to make this live action or live service game that would just make a shit ton of money and it would completely go against the DNA of the studio that made it. Until now, like so many people have left that studio, they're just a shell themselves, and we'll probably never see an Arkham game or like a similar game to that from them ever again because of this.
Yeah, I will agree with that. Okay, they're sort of using this sort of a cover to hire cheaper labor. Okay, when people are ideologically driven, they can be pursued a lot easier. To actually have talent, provable talent in the industry, you want to keep those people, you got to pay them well. And a lot of these companies do not want to pay them well. So they ship in freaking ideologues in hopes that they can get away with pushing their bullshit under the name of progressivism. Okay. Yeah, it's all about capitalism. And they're using the woke movement both as a way to push their capitalistic stuff and at the same time defend the crappy stuff. And not all of it is woke. Progressivism as a whole isn't all woke. Okay. Sorry, I sort of went off on a tangent.
Directions been taken, and that's like pretty much just from studio greed from the higher ups. Like there's a lot of problems in gaming, and the reason that there's been so many layoffs is very like multifaceted, and it's not because of fucking Sweet Baby Inc.
Right.
It's just annoying that like there are genuine problems with pretty much everything, right? And especially also with gaming. But these people are now just trying to take the spotlight away from those actual problems and put it on the wrong solutions. Or like
no, they've been talking about those for so long, and now we got a canary in a coal mine. Okay, I might have been in and out, speeding up. Like, okay, are they talking about anything relevant here? I do think they are. This is the most relevant thing I think that comes up in this fucking stream, and it comes from the young man. Okay,
had all the stuff they worked on posted on their website, but somebody on Steam was making a list, basically drawing attention to games made by Sweet Baby Inc. because they didn't like what Sweet Baby Inc. was about. And then there's a Streisand effect, which, by the way, don't be that person. This comes from somebody that doesn't understand internet trolling. Like I
agree.
There's certain things you
with
can
Ray.
not talk about, and that's fine. And there's some things you want to bring
There are
attention
people
to. I think
pushing
bringing
for
attention to that
ethics.
list was really stupid. I probably would have never done that myself.
There are people pushing
So
for
that
the
was
culture war
not
now.
a great moment. But then that started
I
the
don't think
spiral
those
of this.
people
And then
should be
started
called
looking into everybody attached with Sweet Baby Inc. past
Gamergate
employees,
2.0.
bringing up their opinions, trying to say they're racist and all this other stuff. It became a cycle of like witch hunts on employees of Sweet Baby Inc. And then connecting it to BlackRock and DEI and ESG, which by the way.
Okay, why are they saying this? It's been a tool of the left for a while. You're just having the tools used against you in the culture war. I don't like that, but I don't blame anyone who's using it, okay? I think it's fucked, okay? I think I wouldn't like to use it. I can't blame anyone for feeling it because legitimately, a lot of the shit that comes off, black people can't be racist. Fuck that shit. Don't push your P plus P equals R, okay? That's a sociological definition that should not be applied to the interpersonal content, okay? It's proven. The woman who works for Veridate, such a great game. Covered it I watched it. She has connections with Sweet Baby Inc. She doesn't want to work with white people because they don't understand microaggressions. And, she doesn't want to have a hostile environment. Fuck off with that. That is racism, okay? You're using a very minor thing, okay? I could do the same thing the other way around. I would rather not.
Way they said that they don't have any connection to any sort of rating system, but that's not enough for people that have conspiracy theories about it. It's a
Why
real.
not let the market decide?
I don't understand how it's. I get.
Yeah, I understand the argument. Why not let the market decide? Okay, and the market is going to speak, but people are going to try to make people aware of what these companies are doing. These people in the YouTube sphere, journalists, all that's part of the market. Okay. Gamergate originally was about ethics. I really wish the focus this time around was also about ethics. It sort of is, but sort of not. Okay. It's just didn't work last time. So I understand not people focusing on that. Focusing on this one place where definitely the concerns are off the chart and they did it to themselves. Sweet Baby Inc. with who they hired and how there is that sort of a place funded who was like, yeah, the Sweet Baby Inc. and all this conspiracy bullshit should be banned by everyone. And that's bullshit. That's authoritarian bullshit that I won't stand for.
If the people wanted to be Gamergate too, I don't see how it's such a big issue though, because it's not like they work on every game in the industry. There's far too many games out there, and they're hired by the people that are making the games. It's not like they're going in and pushing the doors down.
They're lying hard about it because it's like, if they just base it on what's actually happened, it's like, you've got a handful of game studios that have again hired them, asked them, wanted them to do this. That literally have not been.
I don't know how they're doing
any, butch lesbians kicking in doors or anything.
Yeah.
And yet you see them acting like, I've seen posts where they're like, oh, you can just assume that it's them with every game where there's some kind of woke stuff that Sweet Baby's involved.
No, everything is a conspiracy theory. This is just a small company. They can do no wrong. Again, at least Vito, I'll give him some props. He didn't probably give it enough focus in his interview with Nathan Grayson, but they did cover that Sweet Baby Inc., at least that consultant who kicked all the shit off, got it. They both were like, oh, I can understand how the journalists feel, blah, 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 blah. But then they moved on to sort of being like, oh, but there's conspiracies. This is all misinformation. Show us the evidence, okay? Show us people talking about it. I can show you dumbasses on your side all the time. Hell, I'm watching them now. Okay? You are talking out of your ass in so many regards.
Which one of my clips did you have, by the way? I see my face down there. I don't know which one.
This one. While I look for the
helps with the narrative in games. That is a tool for people to use. If in fact we were doing all of these things and we had the power to do all these things, wouldn't we just be doing them? And if we were, wouldn't it be covered up in a way that you wouldn't even know it? I mean, I feel like it's just a weird thing that we're so smart as gay people that we're able to do all of these like almost insidious, like a Cobra type stuff from G.I. Joe, where we're inside governments and facilities and businesses and doing all this covert stuff, but we're also really stupid because of the pronoun things. And we're really dumb because of all the pride events we have. Like so
the enemy is both weak and strong.
And I have to bring that up every time because I don't think people are quite aware that is the sort of You know, that's how they function. That's what they do. They create this narrative where we're out there doing all these awful things, but we're also so weak and they're winning the war. And that's what makes it propaganda. And that's why people don't understand that. You know, they get wrapped up in it and they don't look at it from an outside perspective. And yeah, if queer people were able to just turn the tides, why would they be functioning as a consultation firm for more representation in media? Like, why would they have to do that? Why would a company like Sweet Baby Inc have to exist if it were just so easy to take over everything? It just, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I was just so I didn't know this, but it makes sense now why I guess a lot of focus is on Sweet Baby Inc is because they worked on the new Suicide Squad game.
Right. So, which is very poorly received. It's not it's a game that a lot of people like, so I get it.
Yeah.
But they also worked on God of War.
Yeah, so, exactly. God of War, Spider-Man 2, fucking Alan Wake 2, and a bunch of other games. Like it's the same shit we see all the time where people just focus in on one specific thing.
Yeah.
Wait, do you mean these guys cherry pick?
Yes.
You know what, Bob? I think I do.
I've done this before.
So Jasper said that your boy Zach did a video on Sweet Baby. It's good old fashioned extortion. So in what way though? In what way? Like I don't want to run down a spiral of conspiracy theories to get to the point. Like tell me what the material harm is and what Sweet Baby Inc is doing.
Well, we've got a video right here where they kind of say some stuff about it. But like I just wanted to say that I thought of something the other day because I see your boy Zach's videos pop up on my YouTube and shit. And it's like every single one of them. Basically, if Twitter just ended tomorrow, his YouTube career would be over.
Is it really just a Twitter farming account?
And fucking and then just ramble his bullshit about a tweet. That's his entire fucking channel. It's insane. Anyway,
I mean, I feel weird calling it your boy Zach. It's fucking Richard Meyer, guys.
It's Richard C. Meyer. Yeah, it is weird calling him that.
Your boy Zach.
Does Bob have anything to add to this? I mean, at least Turf has bringing up decent points. Okay, I have some respect for Turf. Not much because he really should distance himself from this fucking little group here. It's just going to reflect badly on him, okay? Because frankly, he brings up some decent points. It almost seems like he wants to try to be fair. But you know what? Yeah, let me not get into that. There's better people to speak on that.
Okay, so here is a video that I was like, maybe these guys might have, I don't know, good take. Generally, sometimes this guy has had some okay takes considering the folks he traffics with, but all right. So we got Geek Getaway here.
All right.
And then some other people have no idea really.
Dev speak up in support of consultancy. Damn it, studio Sweet Baby Inc. After online group claims firm pushing agenda into games it weren't that. Online group. I wonder what that means. Yeah. Gamergate 2, Electric Boogaloo. Here we go. Hell yeah, I'm excited.
Literally rubbing his hands together at the idea of another Gamergate.
Can't wait to harass some women online.
Yeah.
What? Okay, that's probably an attempt at humor. And Tony sort of brings it upon himself, okay? Again, this is why I find Tony to be such a fucking clown, okay? Even when I should be able to agree with this man, I can't just because of how brain dead he is. Just they can cover him and they make the opposition side. They can actually cover his stuff and be like, look how idiotic this guy. Rest of the stuff, they can't actually do this with it.
Just so you know, apparently this article, when it was tweeted out on Twitter, on the Twitters, it got community noted that they don't mention in this article how the Sweet Baby Inc employees were attacking people and calling them names and calling people babies and calling people, gamer words.
Okay.
Wait, we're talking about like the CEO, right? Kim? Is that who he's referring to? Is that
I don't know.
I know Kim was the one that people were saying made a lot of really dumb online comments, and there was more than one. I only know about the videos that were shared and the first comment that came out. So maybe there was other stuff that was said.
And I mean, maybe that's a bad idea to do that as a company. Really,
it is 100%.
Yeah.
However,
yeah, totally gonna ignore this. The fact I don't know if they even know about this. That the fact they tried to get the Steam group deplatformed. A consultant, someone Lego bots, tried to get the people to flag this group, which was completely in their rights. And they try to be like, oh, it's on their website. Well, if it's on their website, why are they so scared that they're going to put their freaking little games online? As long as that information is correct.
the fact that these guys hold them to that standard whenever like all they do is talk shit about people and like instigate people on the internet, you know what I mean? Like, and then you see how they interact with each other and whatnot.
You did,
and probably.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's basically everything that he says here. Don't spoil it, but I'm gonna spoil it. Everything that could have happened, any response that could have been made from Sweet Baby Inc or the developers, which the developers apparently have also said some things in response. It's all evidence of how they were right in the first place. Because I don't know. It's this conspiratorial thinking that I can't understand, where you have to just be so desperate to like believe the pre-drawn conclusion that you're starting with that you just will take whatever and twist it back that way.
What was he trying to say there? Yeah, Tony is definitely. Yeah, I can't permit, even when he agrees with me.
Calling us evil.
Calling us evil.
Mary Kenny, Associate Narrative Director at Insomniac Games, has discussed the current online discussion surrounding narrative development and consultancy firm Sweet Baby Inc. To recap, Sweet Baby Inc. recently became the target of a group which claimed the company was forcing studios it worked with to increase diversity within its games, and accused of it of pushing a quote woke agenda into the industry. Following a report into the claims by Kotaku, a number of game developers have spoken up to clear up misconceptions about what companies like Sweet Baby Inc. actually do. I'm going to stop you right fucking there, okay? Eurogamer, let me stop you right fucking there. Okay? If a company is being accused of nefariously injecting personal politics into their games, they're being accused of all these evils, like Potion Sword Run just showing up in the middle of a stream. And then suddenly, game developers.
I gotta look into some of this. Leslie's saying it. Potion Sword Run. What the fuck does that mean?
Might be a comic. Like, there's a lot of CG people that go on to promote.
No, that's one of the people there.
Oh,
to defend them. When the accusation is that if they don't listen to Sweet Baby Inc will, as the head of Sweet Baby Inc said herself, terrorize the members of the company.
All right, let's check that real quick.
That goes back to Kim talking about how if the other employees don't want to participate in diversity, and I'm paraphrasing here, that you just don't include them in any of that stuff until they either don't want to be there or decide that it's within their best interest to get involved with it. But again, this is consultation stuff. This isn't. I don't think that any of this is. So
I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to be fair here. Okay. This is just way. I'm trying to be fair. This is just boring and so much misinformation on top of misinformation. This is why I can't really co-sign Tony here. Almost seems like an easy straw man that these guys can go to. And really have a problem with all these people. Okay. Normally I don't try to cover them, but they're coming into the space that I've been covering for a week now. So
why would I do it? And you can't say, oh, it's because they're controlling the industry. Probably. If that were the case, Sweet Baby Inc. would be doing this to every game.
Breaks would be nice.
Not. It's not even close. It's actually what, like 20 games or something. So
this is last night. Okay. These people have no ethics, no journalistic thing to look up data that might push against them. Okay. They literally have in a whole bunch of articles sort of a lockstep, just like the original Gamergate. They come out with the narrative. Sweet Baby Inc. Detective is just like Kiwi Farms, just like 4chan, just, people known, history of harassment, sort of creating that link in the viewer's mind so you can dismiss the idea that they should be gotten rid of. Okay. It's a soft sort of a way to try to get it into it. And it's just not going to work this time. Okay. I don't really know why anyone with any sense of ethics can really go on.
I don't know. I'm not big on conspiracy theory stuff. I need more like factual stuff. I mean, we can sit and talk about things, but
so let's look at this. Actually, I just found a Substack article that kind of really goes into it, maybe better than the Yahoo one, but
yeah.
So this is thankfully a free Substack. What actually happened and why should you care? By Adam, a name I'm gonna mess up if I say it. Sweet Baby Inc. has become the focus of some gamers' ire on social media, but what happened and why should you care? Companies About Us section, which we looked at the other day, last week, founded in 2018. Sweet Baby Inc. is a narrative development and consultation studio based in Montreal, working around the globe. Our mission is to tell better, more empathetic stories while diversifying Clients include Xbox, Ubisoft, Square Enix, Rocksteady, EA, Wizards of the Coast, practically all the big name players. Development, full-scale game development, and interactive fiction.
Okay, here.
So, I mean, that's a pretty broad range of shit that they could do.
Yeah.
So I want
Are they
going to
get to the
Yahoo
next
article real
part?
quick about because there's a
Really? Let me just okay. Let me just play it for fairness.
dialogue, UI, UX,
Last
writing,
thing before he switches
arts,
up.
copywriting, etc. Narrative, story pitches, world building, character creation, narrative design, story feedback and tweaks, and more. Representation, cultural consultation, sensitivity and inclusivity reading, risk and opportunities assessment, and more. Development, full-scale game development, and interactive fiction. So, I mean, that's a pretty broad range of shit that they could do. So I actually want to go to the Yahoo article real quick about
He's just gonna skip this. What started the Sweet Baby Inc backlash? It is right there on the screen. Okay, let me take off. Sorry. I'm leaving. Hell, you're even running cover for them here in chat. No, that's my fault. Sorry. I'm gonna put you under the bus. Let me just say what's literally on the screen that Dane has on the screen. What started Sweet Baby Inc backlash? The controversy began after Sweet Baby Inc employee Chris something Lego Bots highlighted a Steam curator group called Sweet Baby Inc Detective on X, formerly known as Twitter. They have since deleted these posts, but they're documented below. Conrad, I'm assuming, accused the group of harassment, tagged the creators and Steam, and said, even with the discriminatory language, and
there's a
cover that up, shit, man.
Something that's said here. This is definitely taking this Yahoo article does take a bit of a like, oh, these fucking people kind of approach, and I don't think that helps necessarily, but you know, talking about like the chuds, essentially, just kind of like dismissing. So Sweet Baby employees maintain that overall their job is to provide assistance to companies that already want to improve already existing diverse elements. So let's fucking.
Oh yeah, here's my edit. Actually,
company CEO, who she's apparently the devil. But the perspective is never that we're coming in and injecting diversity. For the most part, it's the reverse. What? They're taking out diversity? No. It's that the company has created a character, a diverse character, and they want to make that character more representative of real life people and experiences and more interesting. There you go.
Company, Sweet Baby Inc. We're a narrative development company. And for me, what that means is everything from writing and narrative design to world building to character development to scripts to punch-ups. And for me, what's one of the most important things that I think I try to bring to any work that I do is representation. Is that feeling of, is this authentic? Is the diversity that we have in this game authentic? Does it come from an honest place? Does it come from a real place? And for me, what sensitivity, the work that we do in sensitivity is often tied into the work that we do in narrative, because I don't think they're necessarily two different things. When you find, when you're reading through a story, I'm thinking, okay.
So I'm not going to try to interrupt this, but to clarify, the narrative is tied into the sensitivity. That's clear there. Okay. What else is tied in here?
One, does the narrative work? And two, how does the narrative represent the players, not the players, but the characters in it? How does it represent the world that it's creating? How are people going to take that world, and how are people going to find themselves in it? So sensitivity reading is looking for blind spots in the work. It's looking for things that could, rub people the wrong way, things that could be insensitive to a certain culture or a certain kind of person or a certain identity, and trying to not only mitigate that, but to craft the story in such a way that, we're not oppressing anybody, we're not being unkind to anyone, and we're representing folks in a.
They make the art safe for corporations, and this is their selling point. We can make sure you're cancel proof, and we won't send any of our Kotaku. Okay, a little bit conspiratorial, but I think the sort of recent push by a lot of these online journalists to defend just this console company. I wouldn't say it's really hard evidence that they have connections or that they would go to bat for this sort of console group, but I definitely think it says something rather significant about the journalist and these console companies.
Positive, supportive, or engaging light.
Are you able to influence how many or in what manner women and minorities are included at the planning stage of a game? Or can you only give feedback on existing characters already in the script?
So for me, that's why I tend to focus, my form of sensitivity reading or risk assessment and the work that we do on building the narrative. Because I think there are two kinds for me, kinds of.
Okay. On building the narrative. To be clear, doesn't mean that she always has an effect on the narrative. But ideally, she wants to have the impact on the actual story here. Okay.
Of sensitivity work. And one of them is that, you are presented with something that's more or less finished, that's already in there, and kind of your job there is to tell someone, okay, this might be offensive. This character feels, inauthentic to the identity that they're supposed to convey, or this, this plot point is a trope that's, have negative associations with a given kind of.
Okay, this is going to tie into when I actually talk about when everyone's going to want to going on as with Alan Wake 2, because earlier in the stream, Tony made this claim that Alan Wake 2 is just bad writing. Okay. I don't stand for misinformation, but I know I'm going to lose probably a lot of people with that particular perspective, where I'm going to put the context to a certain person who's critical and keeping this narrative alive about Alan Wake 2. So prepare yourself for that amount of my typical centrist cringe.
Identity. And that's one kind of work that I used to do a lot more, and I try to do less of it now. Or when I do that kind of thing now, I prefer to, try to spread that work among a team of experts, a team of consultants from different backgrounds who can address, my own blind spots and kind of create a panel on that. Because that's an area where, there's not
too many cooks. Definitely the death of artism. Autism? Art is you have to sanitize, make sure every voice is represented. When some of the greatest art starts with someone completely, not some of the greatest art, but to have an arc, you need to have flaws, tropes, and sort of a span beyond that. Personal opinion on art, tropes can be utilized rather well. Tropes aren't a problem on their own. In fact, a lot of artistic stylings can take advantage of tropes for artistic expression, okay? But when you have a limited worldview, no matter if it's on the right or left, saying tropes are just bad, they're stale, inconsistent, they can be utilized in certain circumstances. And just having a broad scale solution to that is foolish.
A lot of creative input that they're necessarily going to allow allow us to give, because they're so far along. So a lot of the time, that kind of sensitivity work results in cuts of certain things or slight changes. But what I prefer to do, and I don't really call it sensitivity reading, but I think of it as just bringing representation to something, is trying to build a narrative and a story that include moments and elements custom made to bring representation and joy to people. Because that's kind of where Sweet Baby lands on it. It's that I did a talk at GDC called represent.
Yeah. Okay. It's really I personally think this is insidious. Okay. She's trying to get under it. Okay. She doesn't care about the art. She cares about the message, as the critical drinker would say. I think he overuses it, but there is certain times when, and yeah, if companies want to buy in, she can scare them, or the market sort of demands it. You don't want any controversy. Fair enough. Okay. I can understand why this sort of console and all this sort of writing would be appealing to big companies with the big wigs who don't actually understand. They get all advisors to push this stuff. So people who don't like it should push back on it. And by trying to get something like Sweet Baby Inc detected, and anyone who's getting behind it now sort of deplatformed and paint them as just racist, bigoted thing, is just authoritarian measure. Yeah, there are going to be people in there who can paint them as that, but that shouldn't be. That's sort of a trope in its own. That's the old Gamergate trope that they've been pushing on for 10 years and trying to connect it to politics. Okay, a lot of these people are misguided, have misunderstandings, okay? I would say the same for the other side, okay? I definitely don't think Kim is trying to do this for insidious purpose, but we are about to see. definitely has a very egotistical mindset.
Presentation as innovation. And for me, the idea that we can create something new, create something exciting, create something fun, if we go in and from the ground up build something that includes everybody, it's a lot stronger.
Often.
Yeah, I like this in theory, but it's very childish. It's very, why can't we be friends? Actually, how the friend song. I mean, a very lovely, ideal idea, but frankly, is this her broad scale approach? It seems to be her broad scale approach, and it's just as rigid as the people on the right want media to be. Okay, not trying to put anyone in the box. There are people on the right and left who probably don't think like this. Definitely in the center, but you use examples, and Sweet Baby Inc is in the line of fire now. So this is an example I'm working with here, and I cannot get behind this. And maybe there's more out there. Maybe she has other thoughts. I hate tying myself and not trying to be fair and failing generally.
Face pushback about your suggestions when you do these sensitivity readings? And have you ever felt like your advice was ignored?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's part and parcel of the process, is that a lot of the time when a project that I'm on is purely a sensitivity reading, it's often done so that they can feel like they've done their due diligence. But a lot of the time, especially when it's late, the problem ends up being like, hey, he can't change these things that you suggest. We might agree with them. The team or the client might go like,
I include this part because this seems like they're sometimes used as just a rubber stamp. Yeah, we went through the motions. Oh, sorry, too late. Oh, thank you for the suggestions. We'll keep that in mind next time. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, and I'm sure she went through a lot of stuff to get to where she is, but the way she's conducting herself now is something ethically and probably even morally, I'd like to stay away from morals, is just horrendous.
hey, this is really cool. We like this idea. Unfortunately, we've already recorded all of these scenes.
So is it at that point, do you feel like it's just a formality that they're asking you to look over the text even though they know they can't change it?
I think a lot of it is to create answers. And this is being a little inside baseball. It's a little, I don't want to dismiss the practice, but I think that a lot of the time it's more for what are people going to be angry about when this comes out. It's more about like making sure that the PR is good. It's so that when someone says, hey, we find something offensive about this, they have an answer for it. And I do respect that. Like I think that it's important to think about how your product is coming out into the world and being ready to answer and discuss the important issues that people bring up. But isn't it better when you do that work as part of the development process? I think for me, the reason that I don't do a lot of pure sensitivity readings anymore, and I kind of more flag things and try to make them different within the narrative, is that I want to make sure that the representation that we bring to the stories is organic and holistic and part of the creation of it. So like one of the ways that I talk about it a lot is this, like, if you call someone in to tell you what you've done wrong in your already completed project, the best outcome that you can get is to kind of sand down the rough edges of your story, is to say, okay, there are these rough bits and these little places that are going to hurt people. We're going to sand those down and make sure that they're not there. But what that ends up with isn't necessarily something representative. It's just something that's inoffensive. It's something that doesn't outwardly offend a group of people or doesn't say anything about a certain kind of person, but instead it doesn't say anything at all. So the thing that I prefer to kind of shape it as, and what we do at Sweet Baby, is it's more about saying, here's some opportunities that are ahead of you in your story. Here's a place where instead of just saying, hey, we can put you in.
You can't hate the woman for trying to market herself, trying to get herself in there. Okay. Try to frame this in this particular way, trying to get deeper and deeper. But we got the result of that with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And from my perspective, it almost seems like they didn't care about that product anymore. So they just tried to make this push so they can put all these sort of mechanics in that were complete and utterly garbage, terrible. It's just a veneer to try to defend it. Attempt at it. And it's a failed attempt. Okay. You failed. One of your employees got mad because your failure got the Steam group detected. and it's just been downstream. Okay, you should just admit your failures, admit your faults, instead of double down and saying these are just horrible, bigoted people. And yes, there are going to be horrible, bigoted people within these, but is it the large majority? Is that being honest? Is that, as journalists representing Sweet Baby Inc Detective, where the person who started it, I believe he's a Brazilian, doesn't know about Gamergate, doesn't know about all this nonsense. He just started it because he noticed this game and other games with Sweet Baby Inc. And yeah, they made flaws, and you try to correct them. Fair enough. Admit things, move forward. Why can't these journalists just man up and admit their mistakes? They have to obfuscate, and it's just simply beyond me. And they just simply lie about this sort of stuff. Okay, yeah, all market talk. I understand where she's coming from. I don't agree with her philosophy towards this. Sounds downright something antithetical to artistic expression. For people who want representation, this is what they want. They want a genuine experience. She's hitting all the buzzwords here, at least.
And, you know, not make an offensive caricature. How about we make a character who's truly representative, truly authentic, and brings joy to the people that you're trying to represent? Because I would rather see that. I'd rather see a character who brings some small element of reality to me, who I can recognize as being made for me, than just someone who looks like me.
Right, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, and because there's so much joy. I mean, you know, when you feel, I think that one of the things that we don't talk about enough in life is just like, we're trying to bring joy to our audience and to our players. At the end of the day, what we're making is something that is a toy, something that is fun, something that engages and excites. And so if I can create something, if anyone can create something where a person who doesn't get to see themselves represented in media not only gets to see themselves represented physically, but gets to go, oh, I can see that they know about my life. They know who I am. You know, the little details in the way that you make food, in the way that you do your hair.
I don't even know where to start with how wrong I find this. You're just consuming product, and you're trying to represent people. You're trying to put them in a box and say, yes, I can express who you are through this product to make you feel good. This dopamine. Oh, joy. Okay, this is just product. Okay, consume. This is the mindset for this. And I don't know why she thought to include this. This comes across as a lot of her stuff comes across as very egotistical. She wanted her race, people who look like her, to be represented. And I understand wanting to see yourself reflected in the media, in society at large, is definitely probably something that hits everyone at a core. Okay. But it's not art. It's just product, and there's just so much.
In the way that you relate to things. Those are the things that bring people joy. And that's where the representation lies. It's when you sit down and you go, oh, that's me up there. It's not just something that looks like me, it's me. And so that's kind of the approach that we try to take, that I try to take in anything that I do, to say, how can I make someone feel represented?
Just recently, I saw this post about the upcoming Spider-Man sequel, the video game, with Miles Morales. And it had this scene where he can do sign language. And I saw so many people react to that with joy and happiness, like, oh my God, I feel represented, I feel seen.
Yeah, and that's amazing. To me, that moment is something that I think, if we look at the traditional, like quote unquote traditional audience for video games, or what we think is the audience for video games, we go like, okay, it's going to be primarily straight cis white men. And that's how we a lot of the time people go, okay, that's who video games are really for. And then everyone else is kind of like a special interest group. And to me, I think that audience has seen themselves represented all the time. There are 1,000 protagonists who are white cis straight men. And I think that we've almost lost touch with the joy that they're receiving by seeing themselves represented, because we just go like, oh, that's just how it is. We kind of like tamp that down. But the reality is we all deserve to feel that joy. We all deserve to inhabit a character that feels like us. We all deserve to meet characters in games, or we all deserve at least to have a different experience. And for me, if I can enjoy playing a game as, let's say Nathan Drake or something, right? I think that someone who is more demographically similar to Nathan Drake could probably enjoy playing a game as me, because it represents a different experience. And that's what when I say representation as innovation, that's what I mean, is that it's something new for everyone to enjoy. Like if I am playing a game and I get to explore an authentic.
So the only way we can have something new stories, is by a different personal perspective. I just can't get behind this logic. It's really backwards logic. Yes, there's definitely things you can do. Where she's leading with it, it sounds like just a rather reductive way. Okay, you don't like that your race is not represented. Okay, fair enough. The Eric July is doing something about that, I think, which falls along his own line. Not everyone can do it, and how he exactly got to the position to do it, some people have problems with. Okay, but that doesn't actually change it. You're trying to change this stuff, and you're using corporate interest. You're being used by corporate interest, and I think you're trying to use corporate interest to try to push your thing, but I think you're getting played, girl. Okay, you're getting played, Sweet Baby Inc. I don't see how they can survive this. Okay,
version or an authentic set of references to another culture that is done with sensitivity, with care, and with work by working with people from that culture. I'm getting something new, something that informs me, something that allows me to experience innovation. And people from that culture are getting something that they can use as a touchstone, so that they can look at and go, this feels really good for me. And that's the power that we have. And I
remember Chewbacca, remember Obi-Wan, remember. I mean, it's not the same mindset, but it's the same sort of just feeding into the ego of the player base. Okay, and it doesn't sound authentic. Okay, you sound like it sounds like Kim is trying to use this as a marketing push to do her particular sort of push. And yeah, the businesses definitely are at fault for letting people come in and do this. Personally, I think people should just stop buying the garbage that comes out. Okay, boycott. And that's what Sweet Baby Inc is trying to do. You want to avoid these games? This is an easy tool to do it. Raise awareness. Okay,
I think it's, narratively speaking, a direction that we should be going a lot more.
I think essentially is like if I were to make a game and I weren't to include somebody from another cultural background or another community that I'm not a part of, I could call up Sweet Baby Inc and go, hey, I've got this character. This is who they are. This is what their background is. I don't know a lot about this. Can you come in and help me make sure that this is done in a way that is respectful and makes sense? That's pretty much what they do.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the idea I had for a comic book that I was working on, like I was legit like getting deep into working on the preliminary stages of it whenever the initiative just kind of happened, and it's like been sidelined since then. But like it is literally revolves around kind of like several different characters that are from various marginalized groups. And I'm just like, man, this is a really good idea that I have, but I don't feel like I could fucking represent this as well. So I was like actually going to, start talking with people of those communities and, make it kind of like a collaborative thing. And yeah, that's.
You could just hire Sweet Baby Inc.
That's what I'm thinking I'm going to do now if I'm make a video game.
Or Rip a Send. Rip a Send might be a
But you guys don't know anything about Sweet Baby Inc. Their credentials, their successes, okay? What they've done on their own, what they put their money behind, their product on, hasn't had really great success. And you want to see that in AAA? Yeah, do it, Dane, okay? Please, do that, okay? Do that. Spread the joy around, okay? Keep that shit around. Oh, look at it. Yeah, but yeah, it is a check mark. It's a seal of approval, as I said, in some cases. In other cases, look at all the corporate, look at all the diverse people we hired. How representation. We turned Sharkman into a queer. You can't criticize our fucking crappy ass game who totally shits all over that. I don't have a strong attachment to these, but a lot of people do get strong attachments. How long has the Arkham series been going? And this is connected to it? Yeah. I'm glad they killed off the Justice League. They killed off their own franchise. It's dead. Okay. Fuck it.
Well, yeah, hey, look, I'm going to hire them both and heal the world. Okay.
So Sketchy here says that, yeah, it's a reputation radioactive, so no company can hire them, and despite no valid criticism. I do realize that is that's pretty much the goal of all of the pushback on these things, is to make it so that companies.
There is plenty of valid criticism of their workers, at least the projects they're working on. Yes, I think blaming Sweet Baby Inc. for particular things is a flawed sort of way to go about it. But you can say if Sweet Baby Inc. is on it, you're going to have to question some of the methodology that game has employed. Okay. Well, ruin it necessarily? Not necessarily. It's definitely going to give it a certain lean, a certain corporate check, seal of approval, but legitimately just running cover. I mean, these guys.
Companies feel threatened. See, it's really funny that they use terrorize as a term for like Sweet Baby Inc, but then at the same time they're boycotting as a threatening these other companies. So again,
what boycotting is threatening? What about trying to use freaking game journalists to flag down this person's Steam group, the Steam user who started the group? Okay, what about that? Okay, then having all their friends in the industry help. This is the last time I'm going to bring it up, but they literally, corporation made a tweet. Everyone's covering it. I don't need to cover it, but yeah, they have ties to Homeland. They're getting funding from Homeland Security. Sweet Baby Inc. and a lot of these diversity consult firms have really shady corporate interest. I think there might. Now, let me not get into conspiracy theories. That's not what I'm here for, but there's a lot of valid criticism for the industry as a whole. Overall, why can't people have concern about this particular thing? Corporate capitalist greed. You just see it as bigoted, homophobic, and that. No. Okay, it feels forced to them because it is forced. And it shows it came to a head with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. I mean, perfect sort of a killing blow for Sweet Baby Inc. Okay?
It's just the tactics are different when it comes from different.
Dumb and Dumber, man, dude. Like, so are you saying that in a capitalist society, a company is telling its employees that they need to convince people to hire them? Are you fucking? That's crazy, man. Come on, dude. Consultation work is complete non-event. Has no actual say on what makes it into the final game, Tony. If the dev team disagrees with them on something, dev team doesn't take the note. It really is that simple.
Exactly. It's suggestions.
Baffling.
Do your research, guys. It starts off with suggestions. You know, it's a trickle-down effect. Trickle-down economics. No, okay. It's a little bullshit. Okay. Reaganomics does not work. I don't like it. Okay, but that's besides the point. No. And she highlights it. Just because you're not paying attention to it does not mean it's not a concern for people who are, okay? Deaf, dumb, and blind, okay? It ain't an excuse for this shit.
This isn't the first time in recent days that the game developers have had to dispel such rumors. Here's Kyle Rowley, director of Alan Wake 2, having to set the record straight about Saga Anderson's ethnicity. The prevailing theory is that if we weren't for Sweet Baby, Saga Anderson would have been portrayed by a white woman. Is that true? First of all, why do you fucking care? Well, I mean, we know why, 'cause you're fucking racist. Well, it's impossible to say, but does it matter?
No. She was originally depicted as a white woman. It makes sense that should be white woman given what sort of cultural ancestry she has within the story, okay? Am I going to have to go into this? I'm losing people anyway, so I might do it. Let's give it a few more minutes, see how much they harp on this. It's Shillcast is perfect name for you. You know, just embrace the meme, okay? Because you're just shills. Maybe you're not making as much money as you should off of it, but you're shilling for ideology and just running cover when almost no one is being as blatant as Dane's willing to be with this.
It's absolutely not true. To rephrase the obvious, Sweet Baby is about as capable of forcing a game developer to make grand sweeping changes to its story and characters as a contracted artist, musician, or catering company staff worker for office birthdays is. It's the prime business model of consulting companies to offer.
This is just going to run cover. Is he going to cover anything
piss on
critical of
characters
it?
and kill Batman and all that? Like all that was them.
Yep.
Yes,
It's
the game
like,
Suicide
have
Squad
reaction
killed
to-
the Justice League was never supposed to be about killing the Justice League before Sweet Baby Inc came in.
It was going to be. It was originally called Suicide Squad Loves the Justice League.
Exactly. It was going to be a big.
Okay. Here's a point I can probably get behind.
Everyone loves Batman. Like,
So Jasper,
Oh,
okay,
shut
couple
up.
things. I'm not disputing. Like this, art is subjective. You either like it or you don't. So
why would
if you don't
why
like
would you
it-
not be cool about that? It's literally the game is about the bad guys getting to fucking win against the good guys. It literally doesn't. It's not like it's a real guy. Like, I mean, if you're gonna be mad about the heroes being disrespected, you should be fucking mad that Brainiac takes control of them and makes them bad guys in the first place.
Yeah.
But no, the pissing is just a fucking bridge too far. Get the fuck.
Deflection, projection, and defense with all that.
Game. So the argument that you're making about him pissing on the Flash and being bad, that would have nothing to do with what Sweet Baby Inc does.
Right. That's what I was going to say next. Like, well, you have not connected that to you.
No, but they gave it. Obviously, they gave it a cosign. Okay. Yes, that is part of what Sweet Baby Inc. Obviously, they gave the go ahead for all the shit people are mad about from the story. And yeah, they had effect on the narrative. Then there's the whole corporate game mechanic bullshit that just made it a complete and utter dumpster fire. I'm not one person who's saying you need to have the greatest game mechanics. I love to have great game mechanics and a great narrative. I can work with one or the other. I would rather go with the game mechanics over the narrative. But if you can do both well, great. You fail on both, then one of your employees tries to flag down a group who's pissed, who you're just so blatantly associated and with this shit. You only got yourself to blame. Don't run cover for this sort of shit. Hillcast. Are they making money off of the shilling? Probably not.
May not like it. That's fine. Anybody knows my content knows I respect the fact that you have a different opinion than me, even if I can find ways to say that I think it's misinformed or silly. But I will respect it and say, yeah, you have a right to that. I'm not going to say you're bad or wrong or anything. But if you're going to say that Sweet Baby Inc had something to do with it, then you need to fucking lay that connection out clearly. Right?
The fact that David tried to explain this and people didn't get it just goes to show they don't want to hear from anybody that says something they don't like.
No, they're
no. He's not taking accountability. Who made that decision? No, Sweet Baby Inc didn't do it. Who did do it? That guy. I don't know.
All in on them. Like you could literally
skyrocketing, microtransactions, loot boxes, all of that is an issue for gamers. Always online
issues, corporate issues. So that's the issue.
Why Insomniac had
corporation.
This is as much as they talk about it. They're talking about it again recently.
To get the profit margin.
Knowing absolutely nothing.
Title it because that means everybody had to come back to the table and renegotiate based on a brand new series. And they do it with all the children's shows, like all the kid shows.
They do not go any further here. Dana went off to that Yahoo argument. He started off with a freaking little the Geeks Getaway coverage of it, which was rather lame. Definitely running cover. And they end up talking about, hey, Eric, Tony, maybe he wants to watch this. Oh, you want to have a conversation? Oh, no, maybe he can be changed by our very persuasive arguments here. Okay. Now, finally, we're coming to the part where people are probably going to shit on me. But let me just put this out there. Okay, okay, look at this. This is in the title here. Don't want to go over too much. Alan Wake review. Original Alan Wake. Max Payne meets Twin Peaks. There's a little bit more to it. Okay, let's just think about the foundations. I'm going to go over a particular thing here. Keep with me. Keep an open mind, I tend to be on the centrist side. That definitely tends to be against it. And I'm not going to say Alan Wake 2 is good. But I do, with everyone talking about Sweet Baby Inc, let's actually really get into it. I will get into the man. Hear me out. Okay. Humor me at least. You can make fun of me if you want. Okay. Vincent, such a foolish man going into the woke agenda. And you're taking so long to actually get to what you are. So you're just rambling on. Because the veto thing, let me highlight that real quick. Okay. To be fair to veto, most this is just a defense.
What if we remade it?
Most this is just defense.
Shove my butt in his camera.
I think that she's a great guest star.
Oh, but I've seen you in my chat before. You seem like a rational company. And then somewhere, can't you see a list of games somehow? Stand.
Yeah,
some people
I guess success for Remedy, but Remedy's also a bit of a smaller company, so I think it's only up to like sold like 1 or 2 million copies.
Nathan Grayson here, lovely, fun guy. Here they at least address this.
The goal of the group.
This is something that Dane dreaded. He literally like, oh, we can't talk about that. I have to assume seeing that part in him sort of cutting off the discussion once they bring up all this shit that comes up in the article, the dishonest, it just screams dishonesty. Vito might be a slippery ass eel with some really slippery ass views that fucking he tries to run undercover with the label of comedy, but
why don't I just bring it up? Because
you need to give him credit. They dressed his
part
this for like
about Sweet Baby
10 minutes. And they just
I think me and you are in different parts of the
a soft disavow though. They disavow softly here. Okay. Got to give him some credit. Not much. Out of this 2-hour stream, 20 minutes, 30 maybe. Go over this.
The directions in which they're doing it, and these are some of the questions that people are having to answer because they're hard questions.
It seems like only recently, I've heard people talk about God of War, and I don't know, maybe I'm in the dark, but I don't remember a lot of people going, "You got to see this black character. She's terrible. It's forced diversity." Blah blah. I wasn't hearing that, and now the Sweet Baby stuff that pops up, and all of a sudden, oh, we always knew this character was bad, and here's why. It's hard to get to the bottom of that. Real quick, I want to read a couple super chats.
Yep. So got to give him some props. He goes over it for a decent amount. 20 minutes, a little bit more. Goes over this stuff and sort of covers it.
This is what would you call it? This is the mafia, basically.
Yeah, people are calling it like extortion. Yeah,
extortion. That would be the word. They are extorting people out of. Now, unfortunately, as with all clips, we have no context around it. But I think even hearing it, we can kind of understand what's being said. This is from Game Developers Conference, and this is, I believe, the CEO of Sweet Baby.
Yeah.
What I forget her name, but let's hear what she has to say. Big story's better. She says,
exactly.
Yeah, sorry. I put Vito on screen and everyone's leaving. Don't blame them. But
it was an individual saying,
yes.
And they go over all this crap. Same article.
Political divide.
Mostly a waste.
We're going to miss out on a whole.
I do not remember Lofty actually super chatting on this.
Most of what
Vito said that to Tony.
Included.
Lofty does get brought up.
Again,
I could be scanning through this wrong.
In terms of changing organizational structure, in terms of like stopping bottlenecks in developments or in development.
James Lindsay, just bringing this out. Okay, beautiful stuff. I don't even know what they're doing with this.
We got to stop giving Sweet Baby $100 million for pride flags. Can't we pay less for these pride flags? All right.
Comedy as
so
a
now
channel.
Mark claims you're counting on your chief financial officer to get you tax breaks, to put in studios and regions that are financially favorable. Okay, that's all interesting. Is there a lot of trying to get studios and tax havens going on?
I mean, there are elements of truth to this, definitely. Like, you want to have studios in places where you can, those are advantageous things. They're not the only things that people are considering.
Yeah, and they address this sort of a section brought up by James Lindsay, #1 gay studies author. And he's like, hey, there's elements of truth. What is
when they make video games or, build new studios, but they definitely help. Like, again, these companies want to make money and they're going to do everything they can do in pursuit of that. And there's a kernel of truth to that.
Well, I'm going to say that he kind of agrees with what's going on. And he is doing what you said would be happening. Is it's a cause for celebration that wokeness has failed because of what do you call it? They were applying cheap money from the banking crisis towards game, getting the cheapest money while interest rates were low. A few years ago, it was ESG financing. So everybody was fighting over ESG financing. But he says because the returns on investment have been so poor for ESG funds, that source of revenue is drying up. The woke machine cannot continue the way it is now for AAA gaming. And I think, unfortunately, the woke machine, it churns you up and it spits out rainbows. And I think, unfortunately, it's so entrenched, you're not going to see the ability to course correct because the studios are just going to shut down. Okay, so what he's saying is that the ESG funds were giving all these studios money. It didn't work out, but it's too late. All the studios are already infected with wokeness. And now the only thing that's going to happen is they go out of business.
Right. And this is taking, real things that are happening, which is like studios laying people off and having to close and whatnot, and attributing it to a boogeyman. So as to perpetuate a narrative.
They went.
Exactly.
No, it's a part of the culture. He's making an argument. It might not be correct, but you're even Nathan Grayson, one of the 5 guys from Zoe Quinn. It will admit there's a partial truth to it. Okay. And they're trying to make it like they're overhyping it. Okay, maybe they're overhyping it. Grain of truth. Sometimes overhyping it, completely legitimate, completely decent tactic.
But what studios have gone out of business recently? I'm trying to remember.
So in terms of studios.
And then they go off to
what? They're a small third-party company. That's the other part.
That's all she wrote. And That's the story as it is told here and there. And let's see. Okay, going to do my thing. I already brought up that one particular thing. I guess it's way down here, I hope. Okay, beautiful. Before we get into Thumbman's pronouns, Heels versus Babyface, sort of a criticism. Maybe there's better criticism out there. Yeah, there's some thinkers. They come, they go. You know, it's late night. Kid probably has work. You're here. I don't know. Great guy, BMO. Get art from him. Okay, so we're going to go into David Lynch. I would rather people not be here for this argument here. Because, you know, this is the type of shit that gets me in trouble with our community. Defending the wokeness, or what's perceived as that. Any sort of defense or understanding of art is defense of wokeness. It's just trying to be honest about what I think and what I think about art.
Can't still learn from cinema. And in fact, many of gaming's landmark titles were influenced by a single director, Mr. David Lynch. David Lynch is best known for bringing surrealism and expressionism back to the mainstream with films like The Elephant Man, Blue Velvet, and Mulholland Drive, as well as the groundbreaking television drama Twin Peaks. The show takes place in an idyllic Northwest town following the suspicious death of a teenage girl. Underneath a small-town gleam hides a dark mystery with a tinge of the supernatural. One of the earliest games inspired by David Lynch's Twin Peaks is none other than The Legend of Zelda, and the director's influence runs deep throughout the series. Link's Awakening's director, Takashi Tezuka, planned the world in the vein of Twin Peaks' a small town full of suspicious characters. Since then, the Zelda series has consistently followed this blueprint. Link's Awakening also heavily deals in dreams, a major fixture of Lynch's narratives. Link dreams.
Okay, so before we go forward with what he has to say about it, Alan Wake, originally conception. Yeah, definitely he's gonna make the link. Before then, just for everyone out there to be clear, he uses elements of surrealism and expressionism. Okay. So I guess I'm gonna have to read this. You know, surrealism and abstract expressionism both depicted visually, subconscious. Therefore, Hobbes argues that they're bound. Oh, why am I reading this? Just because it's highlighted. The point of the matter about expressionism is it's a little bit bullshit. Okay. There's a look at this artwork. A lot of people won't agree. I actually played this guy. I actually researched Mark Rothko because I had to play him for a certain part in a acting class. Not exactly what I would like. Cubism. Okay, there's a lot of crap in here, but surrealism, I should have brought it. Expressionists use emotions and unconventional techniques, blah, blah, blah. This is more art. Expressionism, yeah, you get the deal. I should have prepared better for this, but I'm a dumbass, so please forgive me for that particular matter. But yeah, there is certain elements within freaking David Lynch's point. So with that in mind, let's get back on track. And I was trying to keep track of what
Hamstrom reader Matt distance possessing traits of his friends and enemies. More on that later, though. This idea of small-town mysteries reemerged with Remedy Entertainment's Alan Wake. The company had previously referenced Twin Peaks in Max Payne, which featured a television show with a conspicuous look of Twin Peaks' Red Room, albeit with more talking flamingos. Alan Wake's northwestern town of Bright Falls was, of course, inspired by Twin Peaks, as was Access Games' Deadly Premonition, which may as well be a Japanese retelling of Twin Peaks. Both contain references on top of references to the show. It would take me forever to go through them all. They even have oddly specific references, like planting evidence in a motorcycle gas tank. Most importantly, though, in both games there is a heavy emphasis on duality. See, Lynch can get away with being so abstract because his stories generally concern essential paradoxes. Black and white, good and evil. For example, Blue Velvet juxtaposes the 50s Reagan idealism of the daytime sequences with the stark, cruel underbelly of the nighttime scenes.
Never played it.
The main character wavers between the intoxicating darkness and the warm light throughout the film. The dynamic shifts are often used to shock the viewer's senses. In the case of Alan Wake, there's a dichotomy between light and dark, especially in the gameplay, as a flashlight helps defeat the dark taken. The game also deals with the ideas of fractured identities as you're working your way through a story you unknowingly wrote a week before. Wake even has a doppelganger, a major element of Twin Peaks, good and evil versions of characters existing in the otherworldly Black Lodge. much. Deadly Premonition also
It's
deals
just
with dualities,
context.
subverting a Twin Peaks reference, speaking to the unseen Zack, into a major plot point that York has dissociative personality disorder, splitting after a traumatic childhood memory. Though not as obvious, this may be a nod to the Twin Peaks film Fire Walk With Me, which was about a child of sexual...
Just because something uses Twin Peaks as inspiration does not mean it's going to be good. There's a lot of contention between the original Alan Wake if it was good or not. I think it was more of a cult classic that caught on later. Even G-Man Reviews said he took forever. I think it's an okay game. I saw a review, the best 6 out of 10 game ever made. Sounds about the first Alan Wake.
Abuse battling the demons around her. This idea of splitting and fracturing is reminiscent of...
Okay. You got the context for the stream, for the people. And now let's go into good old dumb pronoun man. Always gets me in trouble criticizing people love so much. And I am not, I listened to some of this, but maybe not with the context in here. And I need to find it because I'm a dumbass and load up with everything. Hackman, organize. Look at all this fun stuff. Oh, look, good aristocratic utensil. The critic. I like these two together. It's probably way up here. Thumb man. Here we go. Alan Woke. Finally got there, people. I got it, folks. Okay, I got it. So let's see Az's criticism of this.
The product's going to appear white in the jar, but
what the hell's with that? Okay, never mind. Let's see if Az really puts it in context. Maybe I should put him beforehand just to make sure I'm not
and games look prettier, but the cost of that seems to have come through the explosion of the growth of the gaming industry, with corporations now really pushing for hefty and egregious monetization options, particularly targeted towards children, as well as the politicization of a lot of these.
I have to just say, what does any of this have to do with Alan Woke too? Okay, you got your narrative. Okay, everything's part of this big overarching thing. Yes, person towards children. That's not this game. I hope they're not fucking marketing Alan Wake to children.
Storytelling. There are some absolute bangers of games which exist and will no doubt continue to exist. But as the big corporations start buying up a lot more of the indie companies, then it means that they're going to have much more control over what we actually get to see. And I think it's only a matter of time before the video game industry sees just as much of a crash as other industries that have gone before it. But my concern around Alan Wake 2 specifically revolved around the more political elements which seem to be at play here. The first major red flag of current dayism came in the changing of the character of Saga Anderson, here displayed in the trailer for Alan Wake 2 The Return some 7 odd years ago. The blonde Scandinavian descendant was now...
Yeah. The company went under. They didn't even know if they would do. It changed hands. New management, okay. And that was just a Easter egg. There's another video that I don't really want to bore the stream with, who talked about the conception art might change. I'm definitely critical of this choice in some certain regards, but I think within the David Lynchian framework of surrealism, it's not that big of a deal. So, but it's a matter of how they play it, okay? If they do play into the sort of a woman racist stereotype to a great degree, maybe I'll agree with Az even here. This first point is the only one I really went over, and I'm like, no, this is weak.
Now turned into a black independent woman. Why? Well, I'm sure it's got absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with employees at Sweet Baby Inc. and their incredible, stunning, and brave writer, creative designer, and CEO, who has already got me on block. It's as if something might have precipitated that. Now,
yeah,
something might have precipitated that.
So are you. Simple as that. You're both snowflakes of different perspectives, okay? And you're using video games as a cultural landmark, okay? I see you just as bad, okay? You might have better points here and there, But the way you go about it is just as cringe. Yeah, just as echo chamber. Just because you might have a little bit better of a point doesn't mean you're that much different. In my opinion.
Now, that was after approximately 13 to 14 odd hours of gameplay. By the way, I use the term gameplay exceedingly loosely, as there's barely any of it. So what drove me to put that tweet out? Oh, let's just have a look at some of the instances.
Hey there, Agent Casey, right? Sheriff Baker said you'd be coming by to take over the case.
You're half right, Anderson.
Saga Anderson. I'll be leading this case. Seems you already know my partner, Alex Casey.
Shoot. Sorry about that, ma'am. I'm Deputy Mulligan.
This moment is played out as a kind of gotcha to the sheriff's deputy, and I think it has both something to do with gender and color here. Although I don't know why he would have an issue with color, as Bright Falls has suddenly become the most inclusive and diverse middle-of-nowhere towns America has ever seen. The deputy assumes that the white male is in charge, however, the black female is the one who actually is, and he's embarrassed by his assumption. But there's no real reason for him to do so. If we look back at the footage, Agent Casey is leading the two FBI agents quite clear.
I agree, but it's just about challenging expectations. Yeah, you know, maybe a surrealist expression of it. You know, you can't be challenged, you know. I don't see anything really significant with this within it. The duality, the challenge. Okay, this is almost I wouldn't even call this a micro wokeism in this particular case. But you know, he's building a case. It's the part of a whole.
Clearly, and is the first to engage the deputy in conversation. So it's a fair assumption to assume that Agent Casey is the one in charge. After all, he is still Agent Saga Anderson.
Yeah, it's a fair assumption. Why do you assume he's apologizing? God, maybe that's what's triggering as apologizing or admitting fault. Okay, white males shouldn't do that. I guess maybe. Well, I'm probably being unfair there.
Superior. So all that really needed to be said here was to just acknowledge that Agent Anderson was the one leading the investigation. No apologies necessary. Admittedly, something like this could easily just fly under the radar. But it's followed up very quickly indeed by this segment.
Hey, Casey, you putting me in charge. Why now?
Look, Anderson, you're a better detective than I am. You've cracked cases that had the rest of us baffled. I don't want to slow you down.
One of my favorite current day isms, tell.
Well, I actually watched this. She makes a joke about, oh, you're getting old. And that is apparent later. You know what else is apparent later? Which might be a little bit of a weird thing, but what Heelvsbabyface is leading now, she has this weird mind place, which is sort of taken from Sherlock Holmes. So maybe you could call cultural appropriation. Mind place, mind palace, the mind palace technique that I call the mind place. Yes, definitely a little cringe. Maybe you could call it cultural appropriation, that they use that as a mechanic within the game. But within the context of this makes sense. And he started leaving this out to not really give these people human-like characteristics.
Don't show. We're being told that Agent Anderson is a better detective than her superior, Agent Casey. I'm sure that has nothing to do with gender or potentially race either. And also...
No, it actually don't in this case. Okay, she has a supernatural ability. You want to make a case, why should she have this? That's fair enough. But you are putting something on this that's complete and utter bullshit okay? People just keep letting you get away with this. You're not a good representation for this. Yeah, Ackman's a dumbass who knows nothing, but you fucking mislead people with this sort of framing that you got, and people just listen and believe to your thumb-looking ass.
So, of course, instead of letting her actions speak for herself and us seeing how competent she actually is, we're just told so, and therefore is now fact. And it becomes obvious very quickly that the dialogue between characters or spoken...
See, I haven't watched this whole thing. I just made sure I got the right sections. He's omitted her actual power. Again, not saying it's good. I don't know. I haven't played the game. But the fact that he's leaving out a lot of these details, is just as bad. Okay, it's not as bad as Dane. It's as bad as not even as bad as okay, maybe as bad as Vito. Oh, fuck. I don't want to even be that. I don't want to compare. As much as I really have problems with heels for Babyface, I don't want to compare him to Vito. That just seems a little far-fetched. That seems mean. Okay.
Out into the open for no reason is very infantile and feels like it's been written by a child.
Who else to keep this city clean if not I? Who else to protect its citizens from the dangers of unsanitary conditions? Trash, garbage, refuse.
Yeah, this is the sort of characteristic that would be within Twin Peaks. This is very Twin Peaks-esque, okay? Weird characteristics within people. This is where the sort of Twin Peaks, David Lynch sort of section, let's see if he brings it up. Let's see if he has any media literacy or knowledge to really defend this. No, that's Sweet Baby Inc, I'm guessing, okay?
Just call it what you will. I will make it disappear.
A pretty nice day to be working outside. I don't envy the guy stuck on desk duty.
Who is Sweet Baby Inc? And have you meet the baby, which may look surprisingly like a large collection of adults.
So what exactly does Sweet Baby Inc, which by the way sounds like a dating site for pedophiles, have to do with Alan Wake?
Fair enough. Okay. Good dig, guys.
Who? Well, according to their own website, they worked on character arc, voice, and sensitivity reading. And by sensitivity reading, we of course mean someone who takes a body of work and makes sure that it conforms to the ESG, DIE, intersectional, far-left ideology, because they're a bunch of fascists, and of course, you must conform to their worldview.
See? He's playing the same playbook against the far left. He's using all their terminology. Okay. He's got his own conspiracy theories. Yes, they're rooted in reality. Okay. A big corporate thing. Sensitivity readers is more just a corporate skinner. So people don't go after the companies who do it. And yeah, they can be used as a checklist to get that ESG score. It's very clear that plays into it. Okay. Far less, I would say that's more neoliberal than a far left ideology. Okay. It can have some crossover, you know. Neoliberals will sort of have some overlap with it, but this is definitely a very fucked up framing of this and talking out your ass.
Or be destroyed. Basically, they're the Gestapo of the writing world, here to tell you what you are allowed to see and what you are allowed to think. Yeah, sensitivity reading.
He is given way too much intent, way too much malice to this pathetic little girl pathetic woman trying to use her race to get a leg up in the industry. This is way too much intent. She's using this to get ahead in the rat race. Companies are using her to sort of cancel proof their product and maybe run defense for them on certain occasions that is going to just fail. Okay. Not going to be succeed. It's a gamble. Okay. But in this sort of intent, putting this sort of language, fucking reminding me of fucking Bosch. Okay. Just taking the leftist playbook and using it against them. And some people are fine with that. I understand in certain measured doses, but holy hell, there is a line, a sense of ethics, a sense of knowing what's true and not assuming things about other people.
They disguise themselves with names like Sweet Baby, but what they're there for is no other reason than to force companies to conform to the current day DIE ESG.
They do not force. They try to pursue them, that they're worth hiring. They're bartering their services. And yeah, they're using money, fear of being canceling, having controversy, something most big companies want to avoid at all costs. Okay. And yeah, I would say letting them know that they can't get away with it anymore is definitely a way, but you don't have to paint these people as as the devil as is doing here. The fucking language here is just so fucking over the top. I can't see the fucking SJW from the other side. It's all
Ideology and nothing more. And woe betide you if you don't. And because the modern day entertainment industry is full of these ideologues, they are more than happy to invite companies like Sweet Baby Inc in and allow them to destroy their companies from the inside out. And just looking at their client list, you can see plenty of companies there that have embraced this nonsense. Let's just take Wizards of the Coast as an example. Anybody got any ideas about what we can do with some magic cards? How about?
Great example, great rhetoric. How true is it? How much do they involved in that? Sorry, Wizards of the Coast is fucked ass, okay? They did not need Sweet Baby Inc, okay? It's something to pad their resume, a give relationship, okay? You're giving them way too much of a boogeyman villain arc vibe. They're just sad people who are slowly dying out, and things are turning around on them. They're going up for you. You want to be an ass about it? Go ahead.
Provided to them.
Saga Anderson, as I live and breathe.
So the first massive thing here is this waitress in a diner in a small town in the middle of nowhere where Saga is visiting for the very first time knows her complete name, Saga Anderson. And as an FBI agent, that in itself is weird and going to raise significant alarm bells.
I thought we'd never see you back here after that awful, awful thing happened to your...
Yes, this is what this scene is meant to fucking do. I didn't get that far into watching this. And I know this is a very odd thing. She comes out of the diner and she's like, there's a woman who knew my name and was saying some weird stuff. Oh, yeah, that diner lady. Just ignore her. Nothing to see here. How does Has tie this into the woke agenda?
Baby girl.
Even though the dialogue is getting a bit weird very quickly, I mean, that's not exactly the opening line that I would use to my neighbor next door that just lost his father. Hey, Bill, didn't think I'd...
Yeah, maybe you should have done your research and actually care about the video game you're talking about and the inspirations and how it connects to the original game or what inspired the game as. But no, that's too much work. You just pull in whatever examples you can to suit your fucking narrative. Okay? Omit the context. Yeah, you're not any different.
See you here again, not so soon after your dad, hey. But we know that Mr. Scratch is manipulating things, trying to change reality. So we can maybe forgive Rose, although that is discovered later on. It's actually Saga.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. Gives credit there. I'm not far enough into it. I'm talking a little bit out of my ass. So I'll give him some credit here.
Anderson, the FBI agent that is acting complete and utterly out of character.
How are you? I'm sorry. Who are you? I don't know what you're talking about. It's me, silly. Rose. You know me. I don't think I do. And what horrible thing happened to my baby girl? She drowned. Your daughter.
So giving Rose the ultimate benefit of the doubt because of the rewriting of the story and reality by Mr. Scratch, Saga Anderson, however, just reacts or doesn't react to the fact that this woman, who she doesn't know, who knows her full name, and the fact that she's got a daughter, claims that her daughter has died through drowning, when of course, in Saga's reality, she's quite well and alive. Couple this with the fact that Saga has just discovered there's a cult in this town. What Rose has just told her could well be perceived as a threat against the FBI agent for interfering in this case. However, the conversation then progressed.
What? Why would she jump to that conclusion? Okay. Why the hell would she jump to that conclusion? She comes out of the diner, talks to the sheriff about this diner lady, and he's sort of like, yeah, she's just weird like that.
Is in a ridiculous manner from both parties.
That's so weird. You don't remember. How do you know I have a daughter? Oh, I know what this is. You're blocking out your traumatic memories. Happens on TV all the time.
No. You're mistaking me for someone else.
If you say so.
Saga does ask the correct question, how do you know I have a daughter? But then Rose just devolves into stupidity. Oh, you must have just blocked it out. I see it on TV all the time. Oh well, bye. And Saga's bye and leaves as well. Doesn't push the issue, doesn't push this lady for more information, how she knows her name, why she knows her name, how she knows she has a daughter, why does she think she's drowned. She's an FBI agent. Her job is to discover these things, and she's in the middle of a case with a cult in the town. Even though you got my name right, even though you know I have a daughter, you must have got me confused with someone else. Maybe another Saga Anderson, because I'm sure they popped through on the reg. Toodles. That was a really good opportunity for something to actually happen, for Saga to push Rose, and Rose, of course, who's being manipulated, to not be able to adapt because of it. It could have also allowed to cause some friction between the townsfolk and the FBI agents.
Yes, but that completely negates the sort of feel that they're going for. The feel of the original game, where Rose also had the same demented, sort of weird personality in here. They're reusing a previous character or a very similar character. It's been a while since I played Alan Wake. So there's definitely, this is character. She's known for this characteristic. It's been several years since she's reintroduced. They have a new sheriff. They turned the sheriff male. It doesn't bring that up. It was originally a female sheriff in the original game, but besides the point. But still, him trying to make this argument that she should have suspected this diner chick of being part of this cult. She just learned about this cult like 5 seconds earlier. Why would she just jump to the conclusion without any freaking evidence just because of this weird stuff? There is something, you just want to dismiss it, okay? Keep it out of your mind. Plus, the context of it. David and Lynchian, okay, I know you don't care about the context about Alan Wake. You don't care about any of this. What do you care about? Gaming? I sort of doubt it. You keep on pushing your narrative, okay?
But it's just played for yucks. Silly billies when the FBI agent doesn't act how an FBI...
No. It's played to leave a string for her to come back to late in a later moment when she starts learning about all this weird shit going on. That's just speculation, okay? But given the context of the David Lynch style content, it's a completely believable way to sort of frame this particular matter.
FBI agent should. But this pales in comparison to the next scene, which is absolutely ludicrous. Saga arrives at the police station with Agent Casey, the sheriff, and 2 deputies go down into the morgue so that they can perform the examination on the dead body. Without gloves, of course. She finds an item inside the chest cavity, which is what she suspected from the start, and then things get really weird. The sheriff, recognizing the manuscript page, goes to retrieve some that he has himself, but on doing so, he actually vanishes into thin air, making everyone astounded as to what exactly is going on. But before anybody can react, the dead body reanimates and attacks the sheriff's deputies and the FBI agents, killing both of the deputies, leaving Agent Casey unconscious, and therefore Saga Anderson has to try and tackle the creature herself. And upon shooting it, the dead body also vanishes from the morgue, leaving a chaotic path of destruction in its wake. So far, so good, suitably spooky, and it set up a mystery. Where did the sheriff vanish to? We now have 2 dead bodies here, and also the body that they were performing the examination on has also vanished into thin air. What on earth are the police department going to do when they come in and the only people left standing and alive are the 2 FBI agents? I have no idea how they're going to talk themselves out of this one. This is going to be good.
We heard gunshots. Y'all okay?
Did you get spooked by the bodies?
You fucking what, mate? You what? Your colleague is lying dead at your feet, torn to pieces, and you're asking if people are firing guns off because they got spooked by the bodies in the morgue? What the fuck is this? So even with that stupidity, I'm pretty sure the deputies now are going to probably draw the guns, and that's what the hell is going on here with the FBI agents.
Sheriff Breaker disappeared. Nightingale turned into some sort of a monster, and there are offices down. You 2 handle things here. We need to get back to Cauldron Lake immediately.
Fuck me. That's terrible. We'll do what we can, man.
What the fuck am I watching? Hi, deputies. The sheriff, he like vanished.
Fair enough. He's lost. He doesn't get it. I guess not a fan of Twin Peaks or any of the surrealism or expressionism. He wants realism and a game that's based on Twin Peaks with the eerie atmosphere. Okay. What the fuck? Okay. It just no concept of what is needed. And I'm wondering what he's leaving out in this particular case here. Again, at this point, I'm talking out of my ass. So maybe I shouldn't go any longer. If this is his whole argument for wokeness or why he's clickbaiting Sweet Baby Inc with this, I just don't understand his thought process of linking these two particular things together when he's just showing how utterly incapable of he is of engaging with this game here. Maybe he has a live stream. More gets unrevealed. Don't want to go too deep. I just want to simply, for anyone who just goes through this and like, yeah, I agree with that. There's a certain context that he's either unaware of or leaving out. And he definitely omits details that makes earlier scenes that he criticized come off rather dishonestly and disingenuously and out of context.
Into thin air. So did the dead body that we brought down here. But the two other deputies that came with us, they got torn to pieces. One of them's lying at your feet right now. The other one is in several pieces in the other room.
Yeah, go on, Az. Go off, Queen. You know, doesn't make sense unless you're in a fucking Twin Peaks weird parallel dimension. Not perfect parallel. Why do you assume these deputies were already established to be rather dull bumble heads who's never dealt with this? Okay. They even have some exposition lines that sort of support this. You can criticize that. It does create the context to sort of give you an understanding. Plus, I'm just not trusting Az. There could be an explanation for this. I don't know it at this point, but let's see where he goes from here.
We need to go, but you finish off and clean all this up and trust us, Gov. We'll be back. What? And then the deputies just go, oh, okay. Fuckity bye then. Is this a regular day for a police officer in Bright Falls? Get up, have a coffee, shit shave shower, head off to the sheriff's office.
Yeah, that is how the original game was portrayed. You have an issue with all this weird stuff, how some of these people treat some of this insane stuff in the original game, and you're going to make a fuss about here? Maybe you just didn't like the original game or David Lynch, okay? It's not for you, man.
Well, you get told the sheriff's just vanished into thin air. Oh, and that big body of a guy that was in the morgue vanished into thin air. But don't worry, David and Susan, who are looking after it, have both...
Also, I find it funny how people... I agree with the Star Wars take that they have established lore, established history, and he's ignoring the sort of context around this. Alan Wake, Quantum Breakup, Easter egg. Didn't bring up that those Easter egg from 8 years ago. Not an actual promotional thing. They might have used it promotional on the side. But yeah, that was an Easter egg from Quantum Break. They shut down, changed hands from what I know, brought back. They did Control. And this evolved in the universe. Not bringing any of that stuff that sort of gives a greater context or the greater lore behind it. Yeah.
Been torn into pieces and are dead, but the 2 FBI officers right there, the only survivors out of the 5 people that went into the room, they say they totally had a monster that tore everybody up and then just disappeared. Oh, okay. Yeah, sounds legit. Yeah. Anyone for decaf? I think I might have been a bit too excitable today. You
know? Okay, at least he gets it. A little bit too excited.
You know what I mean? This, sadly, has been the consistent level of writing within Alan Wake 2 so far in the 15-odd hours that I've played, particularly when it comes to Agent Saga Anderson. She doesn't act like an FBI agent who looks like she's in her early 30s or so. She acts and is written like she's some sort of teenage girl, or at least written with somebody with the mentality of a teenage girl. I know.
Excuse me. I'm looking for the Anderson trailer.
What?
Sweetie pie, right
The one that's got
time.
Anderson on that sign behind you.
It's not true.
You see that sign behind you that says Anderson? It says Anderson.
A word.
That's your fucking name, you stupid cow.
Reeks of booze.
Why do you behave like a teenage girl? Why does this FBI agent talk like a teenage girl? This is meant to be a mother. Oh, it makes a buzz. There's no depth or complexity to her whatsoever. She's constantly validating herself. And more often than not, she doesn't even resemble in any way, shape, or form a member of the FBI.
Try Puffs Plus Lotion for...
Oh, he's putting down his controller. He's preparing for a speech. Famous ass speech. Rant.
FBI lady, do you have nothing to say about the murdered man? Do you have nothing to say about the murdered man that you've just come across? All right, he's white. He's white. Fuck him. Fuck him. He's white. To buy time, I come across another lunchbox with another validation statement inside.
Oh, there it is. You're strong. You're successful. You are confident. Okay. Beautiful.
Validate the person that needs validating while the person that validates themselves reads the validation statement. Forgive me for being a little weary about these sort of things. And with companies like Sweet Baby Inc pushing themselves, Baby Inc, to plunge the knife directly.
Yeah. Okay. As got him. He got Sweet Baby Inc before everything. Okay. He's made such a great connection in this video. Sorry, I don't see this. This seems like you're just triggered, dude. Okay. It's not any different. Maybe there's some legitimacy. I don't know. I didn't play it. You suffered through it. Sometimes you need to take a break. But the fact that you cannot fucking deal with people. Okay, and it's just in the sea. You used it for Sweet Baby Inc. You had the video game. You played 50 hours. You cried like a child. Okay, good for you. You had to make this. Gamergate 2 is here. The grift begins.
Gamergate is here again. The gaslighting has begun again. The press are running. Gate is back. Gamergate 2.0. Oh my gosh. As I hear you cry, good sirs, what exactly?
Oh, fuck off, Az. Why are you making it into a joke? Do you not take this fucking shit seriously at all? Okay, everything's just a joke to you, right?
Tore everybody up and
Maybe
then just
I'm not
disappeared.
being fair. But it's like no one realizes.
Hack Maine. Maine being where Stephen King lives. Oh no! Then of course Alan Wake's.
There's an element of the dark half I can definitely see within Alan Wake. I don't know how that sort of translates to that. Plenty of stuff here and there. Plenty of cringe all over the place. Let's finish off with something I think is a legitimate, decent video. Just take it off with. A lot of other people are sort of highlighting the problems with this particular issue and even picking it up. You know, standard stuff. See a little bit of this is ad.
Near PC gaming store, and one of the features it offers is the curator function. In essence, this is just a group of games that you can put together. They can be listed together of games where Sweet Baby. Now, at first, this was a relatively small group of people. Yes, people know about Sweet Baby. Yes, they are deeply unpopular with a pretty large chunk of the general player base right now, or they were back then. But for the most part, people just really don't care. Well, that all changed when Sweet Baby employees began to aggressively try to get the Steam group taken down, sparking off an incredible demonstration of the Streisand effect in action, which catapulted the topic to mainstream gaming media websites and pushed over 250,000 people so far, just as of the making of this video, to follow the very same group that they were trying desperately to suppress. Good job, guys. All right, time for the video sponsor. YouTube's not the most reliable income source.
Not gonna play it.
You can order
just highlighting this video.
And play.
Could get really into the meat of it.
Like a hub is to provide assistance. Flurry of very, very defensive. To explain this, we need to focus on Kim Belair, who is the founder, was written, and the CEO and founder. But Grant
here's a good part.
Amy Lee states that Sweet Baby only worked on Suicide Squad, quote, long after the story was written, end quote. However, looking at IMDb, that doesn't seem to make sense to me. In the official credits, we see three names, Grant K. Roberts, Amy Lee Shaw, and Kim Belair. Grant Roberts is a lead script writer. Amy Shaw was a junior writer, and Kim Belair was a regular writer. Kim Belair is obviously, as we've already stated multiple times, the CEO and founder. But Grant Roberts works as a narrative at Sweet Baby, meaning that a Sweet Baby employee held the position.
I'm just hoping this information's correct. It was critical of the information. It might be, might not. I would rather use a different source. There's better sources for this, but you know what? And here it is. We'll do a
Or
session.
in what manner women and minorities are included in the planning stage of a game? Or can you only give feedback on existing characters already in the script? End quote. Remember, PC Gamer is running defense here, citing the CEO of the company in a statement that says, the perspective is never that we're coming in and injecting diversity. But here, in this particular obscure interview, Kim Belair asserts something entirely different, effectively stating that her whole mission is to do precisely that. Her express goal is to, quote, try and build a narrative and a story that include moments and elements custom made to bring representation and joy to people, end quote. Setting aside all personal opinion on that fundamental mission, like it, hate it, skeptical, supportive, I don't care. Setting all that aside, that statement juxtaposed against what the media is now saying to defend this company makes absolutely no sense. These are contradictory positions, where the media is condemning the community for not understanding what the company actually does, after the CEO quite literally said her mission is to do the precise thing that she now says never happens. Riddle me that one, Batman. But wait,
Oh,
there's
no,
more.
it's
I'll have to play
double
this one.
speak. And watch it yourself. He's done quite a few recently. Also some scam stuff that didn't really interest me, but you know, each his own. Did I put the famous sort of did I put it in, or do I have to look for? I don't know. Here it is. It's a Gundam. We got
Switch to
timestamps for
Chrome
this
to load your favorite
particular
sites
one.
fast.
So gonna end up on this. Just sort of highlight the people who are sort of covering this particular matter. Weren't me. And of course, I go with the grand narrative. The 420. It's ironic.
Put this stuff up to your higher ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
If you're clamoring for more, I can give you a few more Kim's hits from just one podcast. You can't handle any more than this.
It's this way. You can still see the comments that you have a bunch of really angry people going, this shouldn't exist. This is stupid. I hate it. And you're like, it's just not for you. Like people can't accept that it's not for them. It's funny because one of the other games that I'm working on now is Goodbye Volcano High, which is with co-op. And it is a...
Yeah, Volcano High is not for me. I don't know who it's for. Who is it for, Kim? That's a good question.
I guess like
but it's
story
interesting
about a queer dinosaur.
I'm finding it interesting. People are picking up on this particular interview, and they shouldn't send hate there. They probably not. I don't know.
High school adventure thing. And the second that went up, the second that trailer went up as part of the PS5 launch stream, or I guess previous stream, people were like, what is this? This isn't like what we want. This game is X, Y, and Z. People were angry. A lot of people were embracing it. A ton of people were like, oh, wow, finally a game that feels like I wanted to. But a lot of people were, like, ugh, what is this? This doesn't belong here.
And how this woman doesn't understand that people watching the State of Play are there to see major titles in gaming for PlayStation.
Yep, good enough. It shouldn't be highlighted in the State of Play. And I'm going to end up on this for some reason. I put the
Wound up
timestamp
at the
for
heart
good
of a
reason.
massive anti-woke conspiracy theory.
Yes, everything you saw with your two eyes, that was fake.
Oh, yeah, Nathan Grayson. That's why I highlighted this, okay? The guy Vito just had on. Conspiracy theory. How did he... This is oldest conspiracy theory, ranging from the Illuminati to Pizzagate to QAnon. Now the conspiracy-minded gamers have added a new one to the heap. Sweet Baby Inc. And this is the person Vito interviewed. This is the person that Vito went to really cover the story. Bias much? Okay, I'll let him go on. Then I'm going to close out.
Conspiracy didn't happen. Like the time Joe Biden put on a miner's cap backwards.
In this article, Nathan phrased the attempt to mass flag Kabuto's Rambo as supposed. Had Chris not been a douchebag, none of this would have happened.
Yeah, the only defense for him is at least he addresses it. Some people just skate completely over this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being absolute worst, completely omitted it. Most people are at 8. Okay, that remember, higher up. This is more of a 7. You have like a 9 to 8. This is maybe a 6 or 7 on the scale of culpability.
but they're never going to write that. They're not going to go, the Sweet Baby dev acted like an absolute boner and created all of these issues. Nah, I can't do that. It's Alyssa McCanty doing her journalism, quotation marks. We'll come back to this later. The damn woman joined a Steam group and asked some questions. And Nathan is acting like she escaped the Temple of Goddamn Doom.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And you want to watch It's a Gundam, Upper Echelon, any of the other stuff? I'll try to link it, okay? Let's see how lazy I get with this. But I think I covered everything I wanted. The Defenders, dumb. Even the people who, it seems like a lot of the people who are defending it, it's getting pushed back from one of the dumbest places, or using him as an example, Tony of Geek Getaway, as sort of a convenient, oh, yeah, this is the type of people going on it. Of course, Dane stupidly goes about it in a particular way that even should be blatantly obvious of how stupid it is, how dishonest his framing of it is. Why, you know, Vito, he can play the game a little bit better. He's a little bit snakier, a little bit funnier, but frankly, obfuscation can take many different forms. Comedy, hell, even Az does it. Am I going to say as bad as Az? Vito is bad as Az? I'm not willing to go that far. They're bad in their own particular ways, and they're probably even hurting the actual discourse around this in their own particular ways. Two things can both be bad at the same time and still be a problem. But yeah, not everyone's going to agree with my takes on everything and my commentary. Dismiss it. Take it with a grain of salt. Do whatever you want. This is Vincent Martin, and I'm out for the night. We'll be back Saturday for what's probably going to be a shit show, but hopefully I can get some discourse with some hardline woke people to sort of steelman their positions on the sort of a woke culture conspiracy theory that everyone is sort of the leftists. Or not leftists, sorry. That's horrible. Gaming journalists who are lefties, leftist to leftist. Who knows? Leftoid, leftist, what's the difference? It doesn't matter, okay? But with that said, I'm out.